Everyone, welcome to another live stream. I hope you guys are ready to have fun with us. Today's live stream is going to be an interesting one. I have a very interesting guest with us today, and well, before I start going into all the ramblings I want to ramble on about today with you guys, I want to say greetings to everyone for wherever you're tuning in, to us from India, Finland, Nigeria, South Africa, UK, US. Where else the people? Poland, Israel. I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every one of you. And welcome to the live stream. I hope you guys had a very wonderful day. I am with Anta Yaşa. I hope I pronounced the name perfectly.
It's Yaşa, but whatever.
Yaşa.
Nobody in Finland even can pronounce it right. So it's like Anta Yaşa. You can just say Yaşa or Yaşa or whatever. Everybody has their own variation of it.
All right. So I can keep saying Yaşa.
I don't care.
Okay. And is this live stream has been like, will I say a long time coming? Maybe something like that. I'm not sure. But it happened on very short notice though. I was thinking, how is it going to be possible for me to have you on my live stream? And then after I did the podcast with Mamos and you, I was like, okay, there's a possibility of two of us going live. And then, we fixed this, and here we are today talking about it. And we'll be talking a lot.
I'm a huge fan of you. Like you are the YouTube Shorts king. Everybody like you just take over. You take over.
I think I should be clipping some of these things and using it to promote my channel. YouTube Short King. He said.
yeah. The Nigerian YouTube Shorts King.
I should change my Nigerian prince to the Nigerian YouTube Short King.
Yeah.
Right. And you are a seasoned journalist from Finland, and the work you're doing in Finland, I think, is really amazing. And I hope many people outside of Finland, especially, will be aware of what is happening in Finland. Hopefully, with this live stream we are doing today, that will be possible. And also be aware of what you are doing and your work, essentially, because I think many of the things you write about are really interesting. I was reading so many of them in preparation for this live stream, and I was like, wow, this is interesting stuff here. These are things that people need to know, and it's from you that I heard for the first time that Finland is the number one producing country in the West for ISIS terrorists per capita. I don't know if that's where we should start from, but
we are not even counting Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and all of the others. Just like on ISIS, we're number one, but who knows? The others.
Oh, you guys have others. You guys have other terrorists you produce.
All of them.
Wow. So this is interesting. Well, first of all, let's get to know you. Your family, you're from Turkey, right?
Yes.
Your family is from Turkey.
I'm ethnically Kurdish, but my family is from Turkey. Yes.
Okay. Were you born in Turkey?
Yes, I was born in Turkey. I was around 4 years old when we came to Finland in '96. So it's been a while.
Okay. Wow. Do you still remember what it's like growing up in Turkey? Have you visited?
I visited sometimes when I was like a kid, a couple of times, but nowadays I can't really go there because I've written too many critical articles about Erdogan, and they know me. I'm on a watch list, and
you're probably on a watch list, right?
Yeah,
the apostate prophet. You guys are probably like we are persona non grata when it comes to when it
Yeah,
comes to
yeah. I
when
think
it comes to
Ridvan is also he's ethnically
he's from
Kurdish
Turkey.
from Turkey. Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
we are basically the same ethnicity, and we happen
Wow.
to be Kurds in Turkey and in the Middle East happen to be more secular, more liberal, more women's rights. It's easier for us to become ex-Muslims. It's
Liberal.
easier for us to be liberals and get away from Islam.
Yeah. So you used to be a Muslim. At what point did you leave?
Well, I was never really like a hardcore religious Muslim like apostate prophet Ridwan was.
Mm.
My upbringing was mostly single mom, very like Kurdish Marxist type of upbringing. Like I have a very leftist upbringing, which is very funny. But
And then you started writing against the left. That was a betrayal of your upbringing.
no, they betrayed me. I didn't change. They changed. But basically like my path with religions and stuff like that, like of course my whole like cultural upbringing and everybody around me and in the society and the community of Kurds and Turks in Finland and everything like that, everybody was a Muslim. Like I for a long time as a kid, as a teenager, you don't really know what religion is, what Muslim is, what a Christian is. You just are a Muslim, like automatically standard.
Mm.
You just are. You don't think about it. But
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the time of like high school, like I think I
Mm.
started to think about stuff and decided,
Mm.
what the hell? I'm not a Muslim. I don't do anything what Muslims do. I don't believe in this. Why do I call myself a Muslim?
Yeah, yeah. I kind of understand that. It reminds me a lot about like Muslims in Lagos too that I grew up with. Many of them, when I look at them, I'm like, nah, these people are they're just Muslims because their parents say they are, and the way they behave, even the way their parents behave, the society around which like they practice their faith, it's not really so hardcore like you find in other parts of the world, and it
No.
allows them to be very liberal and easily just move away from the religion.
Yeah, most of my family are like cultural Muslims. But my aunts, they don't wear the hijab. They don't really
Okay.
pray. They in Turkey it's more secular, but my like
Okay.
it's not
But,
so hardcore, let's say.
yeah, but with what the current is it president of Turkey is doing, do you think he's making like Turkey more like hardcore Islamic country, or is it still liberal and secular? When you look at what is happening in Turkey now, you still call Turkey like, and the Kurdish people there right now, you'll be like, okay, we are still liberal, or we are getting
Well,
hardcore
Turkey was
Iran
never
style.
liberal. Let's say like Turkey has always been like an authoritarian state in some like
It had the
capacity.
Ottoman Empire, so
Yeah, well, before Turkey, yes, and actually, when Turkey was founded, it was founded by a very progressive guy called Kemal Mustafa Atatürk, which was like a very secular Greek
mm,
blue-eyed guy who didn't really like Islam, and he reformed, and he didn't like the Arabic language. He wrote the Turkish alphabet, and he really like established the Turkish people, because before that there wasn't really Turkish people. There were more like Turk Mongols and Ottoman Empire, and there were different
mm,
ethnicities, and then they just merged. We all became Turkish, and the language is a mix of all the main languages of France and English and Arabic and Kurdish and
mm,
Persian. It's like a mix of all of those languages. A
mm.
lot of Russian. It's not a really a real nation. You know what I mean? It's like it's made up. But yeah, Erdogan is definitely making it more
He's
Islamist,
yeah, I
most
noticed that.
definitely. And he the latest thing he did was host Hamas. Hamas left Qatar. Now their
Yeah,
base is in Turkey, which
he's
is
in
very
Turkey.
interesting because Hamas is getting sponsored by Iran, which is a geopolitical ally of Russia, and Turkey is
Mm.
a NATO country. How does that
We
work?
need this. I don't even understand how NATO operates at this point, because I still wonder like how will a country get kicked out of NATO? I don't know, because if there is a process, I think the process should start for Turkey to be like, are you really part of this? Or are you a Muslim country? Are you a European country? If you get what I'm saying, like if NATO is about Europe and not the coming together of all these European countries, to defend itself against Russia. And then you have Hamas that is being funded by Iran, that is kind of like an ally with Russia. And also the way the president is with Russia is like their body. I don't see any kind of hostility towards both of them. It's like, we are still friends. And then you still have that person a part of NATO and is doing so many things contrary to what a NATO country should do. It's kind of, interesting to see how NATO would deal with that. But I don't think what is it called? I don't think Turkey is going to be. It's a big country and it's very crucial and it's very important. I don't think they'll just kick them out like that.
No,
Maybe
no,
that's
no,
why
no. They rely more on like Erdogan leaving, and maybe they will get a more Western leaning leader next time. I think they're more leaning on that because Turkey is a huge investment. There is the nuclear weapons of NATO. It's a front to Russia. It's a very geopolitically important middle of the whole world, connected to all the continents. It's very
it's very
important to
important.
have that in
Yeah,
NATO, and
yeah.
it works as a border also to EU. So it can work as a border guard, as it kind of has. It has been like this border guard of influx of refugees, but Turkey has weaponized that also. Turkey is
Mm,
keeping all the like women and children. It's keeping the women and children and getting money from EU, like billions in a
mm,
year, getting money from those and sending all the problems here, all the young men, all the criminals, all the ex Islamist
mm.
fighters, all the rapists, all the whatever the cesspool of shit fuckery you have over there. He's just sending everything here. Putin is doing the same. If you look at the Finnish eastern border at the moment, we've
Mm,
had for months debates in Finland that, oh, we can't close the border because it's against international rules and human rights. We have to
mm,
protect these refugees. But everybody knows that all those so-called refugees on the border, you can look at the images and videos, they're all grown-ass Islamist men that Putin has sent away from Russia, especially after the last terror attack. They just rounded up all the men, all the
and just
Muslim
ship
men,
them
and
to
just
Finland.
and put them into Finland. And our idiots, our red green idiots, our socialists are in Finland. They're debating on the state media. Oh, it's against international laws. Then why wasn't it against international laws when Estonia closed their borders, or Poland closed their borders, or all of these other countries are closing their borders to Russian influence? But for some reason in Finland, it's like, oh, we cannot break human rights. I don't really understand it.
I
And
don't
we are
know.
not
I don't
we are
know.
not following these. We are not tracking them. They come to Finland, they're inside Schengen area. We can keep them for a couple of weeks inside a detention
Mm,
center, then they're free to go. Whatever they go. They go wherever they go into
mm.
EU
And that's
area, and
and that's
nobody even
really and
knows them.
that's and that's a real security as a security risk when you bring this kind of people and they are from Russia. You don't know what their goal is, you don't know who they are, you don't know anything about, and these are rejects from Russia. Imagine how bad you have to be for you to be a reject a reject from Russia. And that is what is coming into Finland. That is crazy, man. That is real. And that's the same thing Turkey too is doing to the rest of the EU, sending those kind of people. No wonder
They're
there's a
sending
growth
all the
of
problem. It's
exactly. No wonder there's a growth of when you see this growth of Islamists in European countries. It's really crazy. Okay, I really want to know, like, what is it like growing up in Finland, being like having a childhood in Finland, and what drove you to becoming a journalist? It's kind of something I don't know if you can tell us about that and your work so far, all of it. If
Yeah.
you can
Well,
summarize it in one answer.
on the contrary, what you like hear on the news and
Mm,
everything, Finland is so racist and stuff like that. It really wasn't. I grew up like almost all of the time. In the 90s, there weren't so many immigrants when I grew up. I was almost
mm,
always the only immigrant kid in schools and stuff like that. And I went to good schools and like good public schools in good areas, because Finland
mm,
doesn't really have private schools or anything like that. And I
mm,
had a very, very good Finnish normal education without all of this modern gang violence and kids beating up each other using drugs, and we didn't have any of that.
Mm,
I had a very peaceful childhood in Finland growing up, and
mm,
what I learned from it, like Finnish people don't really care what color you are, what your ethnicity is, as long as you're like you understand the Finnish mentality, you speak the language, you can like understand that they're not so touchy. They
mm,
are kind of cold sometimes. They like to drink and then open up. And like
mm,
there's some of these cultural differences you have to learn to deal with Finnish people.
mhm,
I call them the autists of Europe. They are very autistic
mm.
people. You know what I mean? I don't mean this in a bad way. Like they are
Okay.
like if you would put a Finnish person with like some very lively Mexican person, you would think the Finnish person is autistic next to that very lively Mexican person. Like if you compare both of those, I don't mean this
Okay.
in a bad way. Like there is a lot of smart people also, like socially
Mm,
challenged but very smart people, engineers and stuff
mm,
like that. Finland's number one export is engineering and consulting at this point.
mm.
Before it was Nokia, before we fucked that up. So sold it to Microsoft, and we never saw anything from it again.
Mm.
But yeah,
And what
uh,
made you decide to do journalism?
well, it was kind of a accident, I think. Like if you ask
Mm,
my high school or university teachers, when my background is on IT consulting. I'm a IT guy. Like
okay.
that's what I studied. And if you
Mm,
ask any of those, they would say like this guy doesn't even know how to write. He just knows how to read code and shit. But kind of accidentally, like in 2016, I was kind of getting like into politics and stuff. I was active in like left wing parties and social democrats,
mm,
and I was going to be a Helsinki municipality candidate
mm,
from the
mm,
social democrats in 2016, and then I noticed that there's also a candidate coming in that unfortunately is an Islamist, like has
mm,
pictures with all the Al Qaeda people, all the ISIS people, and for some reason, when this was when the Syrian civil war was going on, so we had a lot of this moderate rebels propaganda
mm,
going on around how Al Nusra and Al Qaeda in Syria
mm,
are moderate rebels and they're the good guys and the Free
mm,
Syrian Army and whatever. So nobody really paid attention to this guy, and he was like some kind of a media hero because he had this charity of smuggling toys into
mm,
Syria from Finland, which is very weird
mm,
because if you buy expensive toys from Finland, then fly them to Turkey and then take them to
mm.
Syria, why don't you just buy them from Turkey, like the toys? Like it was very shady, And I
Mhm,
started to look into it. Like the whole media, everybody was like out of their minds thinking that this guy is actually like smuggling fucking toys from Finland to Syria. And he was going into all of these Al Nusra and Al Qaeda controlled areas that not even like
mm,
NGOs, journalists,
mm,
nobody can get in.
mm.
Nobody can get in.
Wow.
But
And
this
and
guy,
and it was the perfect story, the perfect cover.
not
I am
one
an,
time, not two times, he went to
mm,
Syria and Finland in like couple of years. He went to Syria and
mm,
Finland back to forth 33 times, and nobody
mm,
stopped him. Nobody stopped
which
him. He
is
was smug.
because he
He
was
was
carrying
smuggling
toys.
whatever. He was smuggling whatever. And he actually had convictions of previous convictions of like steroid battle drugs, 8 kilos of I don't know, whatever.
And the government just
But
let him do whatever, and they were like, "Oh, he's a
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
guy. He's selling the children
Uh,
toys.
I
He's
think
the
I
toy
think
smuggler."
it had something to do with the Western war against Assad, right? We needed
Okay.
Western forces, NATO. Really needed proxy warriors. We needed terrorists to push them to
Okay.
attack
Okay.
Assad.
Okay.
That was the game plan, right? And
Mm,
and I think a lot of Western countries, when this Syrian war and ISIS and all of this happened, they really wanted to destabilize the Middle East, and so they let a lot of these Islamists to they actually let them operate. They let them
mm,
gather money. Like this guy was having, he had this Islamic charity where Finnish people, like the Finnish state media, was actually promoting this guy, his
mm,
Islamic charity, and he actually ended up collecting something like close to half a million euros total, and was like
wow.
laundering this money. He
Lord.
didn't have any receipts about anything. He told everybody that he's giving this money to some orphanage in Syria. He's building schools, and
I
it
think
was
if,
all bullshit.
if you really want to, if you really want to like launder money with Europeans, if you, this story of I have a charity, I'm opening a charity, is really like a very good means to work from, as a very good way to. There was a time there was a problem in Nigeria. Some people were asking me, which charity do I donate? Can we donate to help these people? And I knew a couple of charities, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to give anybody any charities. No, I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to do that because if it turned out that these charities they are involved in fraud, that is me. It's on me now. Like I gave people the link to, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because I've seen so many charity fraud, and I was like, nah, I just do not
No,
want to do
I
that.
really don't trust any
I
major
don't trust
charities
them. I
anyway.
really don't trust
But
charities.
that's not even the weirdest part, right? When I wrote about this guy,
Mm,
first of all, the party denied everything. The media didn't touch it. Nobody like did anything. I had to prove myself very hard that
mm,
come on, like this is not legit. This is like obviously this guy is
the
obviously
fraud.
scamming you people, and
Mm,
nobody else like apparently saw it. I don't know, but
mm,
he later got okay. He got investigated. The police actually found a lot of like money laundering going on and missing
mm,
receipts, and the charity organization not actually being very legit, and all of
mm,
that. And he got a sentence from it, but they couldn't really pin him for like terrorism. Like they
mm,
didn't have any evidence from Syria and stuff. I had some videos of him shooting and some pictures of him in combat gear and posing next to some ISIS and Al Qaeda preachers and stuff like that. But it wasn't, I think, enough of a enough of a evidence for
it
police to
wasn't
actually.
compelling evidence enough
Yes, and because
to
of that,
land him a sentence for terrorism.
yes, and because of that, he took me to court for defamation because I had called him a terrorist, I had called him an Islamist, and I had called him a drug dealer before what he was. And
So somebody who is in prison is like, I may have been a money launderer, I may have done some shady stuff, but I am no Islamist. And how dare you come here?
yes, and it absolutely bonkers. And what the thing is, in Finland, like people don't. You can't just take people to court. You can't decide who's getting charged or anything. You have to make a police report. The police has to
Mm.
call the prosecutor. The prosecutor has to decide to prosecute, and everything is basically like that. The state decides to prosecute you.
Okay, so
So
it's more like a defamation is more like a criminal offense.
yes,
Over
it
there.
is. It is a
Wow.
felony. It's
Is it
crazy.
felony?
It's
Wow.
it's a criminal offense. Like you can get jail time. It's crazy, and
Why?
we don't
Why is
have
that?
we don't have freedom of speech in Finland. That is a myth.
Yeah,
We do not have.
that's obvious. That's obviously the case. If somebody can
Yes,
sue you for defamation, that's obviously the case that
yes.
you don't have freedom of expression.
And the thing is, when the prosecutor decides to side with you, and this guy was
Mm.
like, obvious victim mentality. Oh, I'm just a guy who tried to help children in Syria and la di da di da. All of you, we've all heard all of these bullshit explanations, whatever
All the
the fuck
stories,
they
all the
have.
stories of, oh yeah, I was trying to be a nice guy, you
Yeah,
know.
and he labeled me all of this. I was a racist. I am a Kurdish terrorist. I hate Muslims. I hate Islam. I want to kill Muslims. He was doing all of this. Like at the same time, he was like proclaiming ethnic cleansing for all the kuffars and all the Kurds in Syria, and police didn't really care about that. No, 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 no. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But if you expose what he's doing, you're gonna be in trouble because he's gonna take you to
That's
court for defamation. And the thing is,
that's weird. And there's no way you can get the police to say, okay, if he's going to accuse me of defamation, what about some of the things he has said about me? Are they not defamation as well?
they don't really
The
they don't understand in Finland, like when an Islamist says, oh, we have to get rid of the Majus, we have to get rid of the Kuffar. Do you think a Finnish police will understand the terms of Majus and Kuffar and what these means, what the etymologies behind them are, and like no, they're stupid ass Finnish people. They will look on there and they wouldn't even care about it because I write in good Finnish. I write in native Finnish. I talk about
Yeah, I
things like a
noticed.
Finnish person would. Of course, they're gonna look at me and be like, "Oh, this guy is hating on Islam and Muslims," and I'm gonna keep persecuted because
Oh,
they
so
think
now I
I'm trying to
understand.
make.
The Islamists they use Arabic. They use Arabic to proclaim their hatred, and
Yeah, a
the
dog
Finnish police.
whistling, and they have all of this
Yeah,
like takbir, and they don't like Europeans and Finnish people don't understand this. They have no idea.
wow. Wow.
So
And
it's
so
very hard
that's
to
how they're able
explain
to get away with, that's how for the most part they're able to get away with
everything.
spreading hatred. And the Finnish police is like, oh well, we don't know what he's saying, so he's most
Yeah,
definitely not a criminal. I mean, if we arrest him for speaking a foreign language, we might look pretty racist. So let's not.
yeah, and because they don't know what they're saying, when you
Mm,
say what they're saying, they
mm,
assume you're making it up, and that's a defamation, and that's a court case. It's absolutely bonkers. So anyways, I ended up actually winning the first court. Like it was obvious. The court was like, what the hell? This is not defamation. Everything this guy said was true,
mm,
and he got a prison sentence. So what's the
mm,
deal? And and I didn't get anything from it. The charges were dropped. But then he complained. We went to the second degree of court, and the funniest thing is that they had the exact same show, exact same words,
mm,
exact same shows. I have 2 videos of these courts in my YouTube channel in Finnish, and maybe my Finnish followers can go see them. But they are basically the exact same show with
mm.
completely opposite outcomes of him ending up winning the second court. For some reason, no, it was defamation because it was exactly the same show. They didn't bring any new evidence. They didn't bring anything
You,
against me.
mm.
I don't know.
And you lost
And
that
then
one, and then it went to the Supreme Court.
yeah, and then I complained to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was like, we don't really want to admit we persecuted you for 7 years, so we're gonna drop the charges on a technicality.
I read the
Yes.
story. I don't remember before we went live. I was like, they kind of dropped the case on the technicality. And you're like, yeah,
Yes.
that's kind of what happened, because the
No.
technicality was
Fuck the
was
technicality. Fuck.
status of limitation, right? That was how you were led of the status of limitation.
They,
They
they, they
shouldn't.
really didn't want to like the whole like ask any Finnish people. Everybody in Finland knows what they fucking did to me. Everybody knows they persecuted me for
Hmm,
nothing for 7 years,
hmm,
but they're not ready to talk
to
about it.
admit
They don't
that.
want to admit it. So they make a it was a technique. We dropped it because of a technicality, and actually they
Hmm,
by doing that they made a
hmm.
first case scenario of law in Finland that was codified in law because of me.
Wow. Did they call it the Anta code?
I
The
don't know what the
Anta
fuck they called it, but it was like a first thing that ever happened in Finland, so they had to make a fucking separate law for it. Like
What
that's
was the
how
law about?
fucking
What's this
crazy
new
this.
law about?
It's basically like before my court, before my
Hmm,
supreme case, if you wrote something that defames someone, and
hmm,
as long as you can read it, the crime
hmm,
continues. So if you wrote something 10 years ago that they
hmm.
now see as defamation, you can get a fine of
Okay,
10
so
years of you doing crimes. That is absolutely bonkers. But because of my court case, they decided, okay, the maximum time that we actually have to like charge and like it's 2 years. Okay, the maximum is two
okay,
years. You
it
can't
doesn't
go
matter.
back.
Okay, so before the law was, as long as people can read it, it doesn't matter where it was written. A case can be
And
brought
how long
against
ago?
it for
How
defamation.
long
It
ago?
doesn't matter how long. But
No, they can. Yes. And
after
actually,
your case, they was
I
like,
did a
no, there's a
favor.
statute
I
of
did a favor
limitation.
for freedom of
For the
speech, I
Finnish
think.
people, they should
Because
they should
before
thank you.
because before my court case, they could dig up like 30-year-old texts and then
Hmm,
charge you with whatever the fuck they want because the
hmm.
culture has changed because
That
something
is
is
that
not
is
acceptable now.
that means before then, that was like the law before your case was kind of expert Twitter, as in typical Twitter cancellation case. We brought a tweet from 15 years ago, and we are like, we are going to take you to court because of that. You see, that could have been possible before in Finland. You can
Now
imagine
it's
that.
not.
Now it's
And
not.
the funniest thing is when I lost the second court, all of like Finnish media that never calls me, never asks me of anything. I'm like super censored, you know. But
Mm,
when I got the sentence, like from the secondary court, like he won the case,
mm,
all of the medias were like, "Oh, Ante Yaşa is a crazy defamer and something like this. Or he's like racist," and all the medias were saying this. But
mm,
in the beginning of this year, when I won the Supreme Court,
mm.
none of the medias in Finland initially wrote that Ante Yaşa was dropped of charges. No, you know what they wrote? A
Mm-mm.
man was dropped charges.
A man with no name.
My name is not even
Who is the
there.
man? We don't know.
Just
Whoever
some
it is.
man.
Well, yeah,
Just
that
some
guy.
random man. Like, think about that news. Like that, just some random guy. I mean, I don't
Just a
know.
random guy. But when it was you lost, they're like, yeah, we know his name. And Yasha, he lost. He lost completely. He's a
Yeah,
defamer. Oh,
fuck him.
that's really bad. That's really bad. Left wing media is really ruining.
Yeah.
That's to show you how left wing media is ruining. Like, and it's most of the mainstream media is controlled by the left for the most part, and that's how they are, character assassination, ruining people's life, and just
Oh,
giving a
that's what they
biased
do.
coverage of the news.
It's absolutely crazy because I am very liberal. Like I've talked to you before. Like I'm an
Yeah.
atheist, militant, liberal. I believe in equal rights, sexual rights, all of this, women's rights. I'm
Mhm.
like the most classiest liberal
You can
actual
never
like
find.
leftist you can find
Right.
in
Yeah.
like and in Finland I'm getting like, oh, you're a Nazi, you are far
So
right. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm a refugee in this country, what the fuck are you talking about?
now
I am criticizing a far right ideology.
from
I
the
am
moment from the
criticizing
moment you
Islamism.
from the moment if you attack Islam, if you attack trans rights, whatever those are, once you do those two things, you're now a member of the far right. You're not just right wing. It would be okay if this is one thing if they just call you right wing, if they just call you conservative. This is bearable. When they call you far right, they are comparing you to Hitler. That's essentially what they're doing. They're like, because when you think of the far right, that's what you think about. You think about Hitler, and that is the image they want to plant. But
Yeah,
now it turned out that it is even a good thing to be Hitler. Who would have
yeah.
thought?
Now they think Hitler is cool. Like,
Nah, Hitler
people
was
can
a
make up anything.
misunderstood guy. Was a misunderstood guy who was actually trying to solve a serious problem. And here we are giving him a bad rap for like 50 years until October 7th, and everybody's like, maybe Hitler had a point.
But like the donated $5 and said, good, you can laugh about it, sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, it was a nightmare, and now I
Yeah,
can
I can
laugh
imagine.
about it. But that's not the only thing that, like, I at this moment I have 3 cases against me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
We're
I'm
still
not
going to
like
go.
stress free. I'm like, don't
The
see me
cases
laughing,
against him
but
are not over. They're not over, guys.
yeah,
They're still coming again for him. But before we talk
nothing
about
is
the recent
over.
case,
Yeah.
yeah, before we talk about the recent case, I want to talk about how Finland became the number one ISIS producing country in the West. How did it happen? Like, how did it happen? For you, as someone who grew up in Finland, how did you notice the movement? Did you notice the change? And how did it happen? If I'm to ask you that, like, how did you think it
The,
came
the,
about?
there is two pivotal points in Finnish history, which is 1990s when we had Tarja Halonen, the first like female president of Social Democrats in Finland. She had some kind of a pact with Somali refugees and stuff, and that was the first influx of very, very, very Muslim, thousands of Somalis coming into Finland at the 90s, and
Mm,
from there it started, like the Somali Salafi Wahhabi communities started to grow from there. And the second
mm,
second influx and boost of Islamists was 2015, when we had this Iraqi and Syrian men, millions of them coming into Europe, 50,000, 60,000, I don't know how many thousand of them came to Finland, and almost
mm,
all of them stayed. Nobody was left. They did a lot of crimes, a lot of rapes. Something like a couple of thousands of girls, 5,000
mm,
girls were raped, like a pandemic, rape pandemic in city of Oulu, and
mm.
it's like it
And
started
when
from
those
there.
happened,
And
those people were not deported or anything like that.
not really, because Finland doesn't have a contract with Iraq. We can't send anybody there. So once you come from Iraq and you stay here, doesn't matter what the fuck you do, you stay here.
Okay, but what about the ones from Somalia? The deal that she had with the Somalian government. It didn't. It had nothing to. There was no clause for if these people misbehave, you can send them back or something like that.
I don't think Finland understands like the basic concept of Islam and the mentality of it, and how the people are, and like it doesn't really matter what the Muslim does in Finland. They see it like, oh, it's their culture. We have to tolerate it, and I don't think they ever even understood the problem they imported.
They were
And
important.
yeah,
But
so
they
so
still see
they
it. So wait, I want to understand. If people have, if people are in Finland and they have a rape culture, let's say there's a rape culture that is part of the people's culture, it has to be tolerated.
well, yeah. So let me explain you a crazy story. So we had a case in Finland where some young Muslim guy beheaded his girlfriend, Finnish girl, in an apartment, and it was like the blood was flowing into the doorways, and there's a lot of pictures of it and stuff like that. And there is one particular comment that was made very famous meme, which is like a very tolerant Finnish auntie saying that, oh, this is like Romeo and Juliet, he loved her. So that is their understanding of it. They think it's passion, it's passionate romance when
It's
you
passionate
behead a
love.
woman.
No.
Ask Finnish people. I'm not making this shit up. ask Finnish people in your chat.
That is. How will you come up with that conclusion that, oh, it was passionate love? Passionate love is what made you kill. Okay, if a Finnish man was to kill his girlfriend, is that also passionate love?
Oh, that is one of the greatest arguments the leftists have. So whenever you bring up the fact that Iraqi and Muslim men overrepresent in rapes, like over 1,000%, you bring that fact, the first thing they say, oh, but a Finnish man rapes too. You're like, and how does that make this any better?
That argument I've seen that argument online, even not for Finland, but I think it was in the UK. They were talking about grooming gangs and stuff. And I think it was an article. So, and I went to the comments and I usual outrage. Why is this allowed to happen? And then I saw someone who said, please don't blame this on the culture. Even the European men, as the British men themselves, the whites, also rape people. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is stupid. This does not make sense. This is not a valid excuse.
In the West, if you rape someone, your friends are gonna shun you. Like
you're going to be the stigma around rape in the West. People lose their social standing. They lose everything. It's a damning accusation. But not for these migrants. It's not like their community is looking at them and they're like, yo, you've done a very despicable thing. No, if not, they're even giving them a pat on the back.
Compliment them.
They're praising them. You did the right thing. This is not the same thing. You understand? And then you have
rape culture.
That's a rape. Exactly. That is a rape culture. You know all those things that you people talk about, how bros in the locker room are always talking. No, this is the actual one here. Like, this is the actual one. You don't just let this thing slide and be like, oh, it is their call. But Finnish men also, rape too. No, it's not the same thing.
My experience of Finnish men are like, they're very timid. They are afraid of their wives. They're not like, I haven't seen a single inch of this toxic masculinity coming from Finnish people. I don't understand where
it's
this.
The same thing, for example, when you say Muslims engage in, let's say, acts of violence or stuff like that, and then you bring out whatever act of violence that they engage in, and somebody goes somewhere, goes to 1845, and then brings up an incident that a Christian did something, and then they are like, you see, this is proof that Christians do the same thing too. And I'm like, are you stupid? From where did you dig that story up from? You really went on a treasure hunt for that story. But do you know how easy it is to get a story of a Muslim doing something? You just have to stretch your hand, and you're going to pick one. You are just going to pick one.
Thousands at the same time.
I'm telling you, thousands of stories. But to get one about another religion, you have to go on a hunt. You have to go on a hunt to 1845 to find the story. And then you're telling me, they are the same thing. No, they're not the same thing. They are so not the same thing. Look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, right? That's what the West still told us in Africa. Numbers don't lie. Look at the numbers. They are not the same. Jesus Christ. I don't even know what people are.
This is like you're saying, like, dude, look what Islam did yesterday. And then a stupid ass leftist will be like, what about the Crusades 1,000 years ago? Like, you're like, how is that relevant? Like,
we are talking about something that, in fact, not even what happened yesterday. You can talk about what happened this just right now. You can get the news right now of what an Islamist did or what a Muslim did, and then they're like, "But remember the Crusades, guys." Like, what? You're comparing today with something that happened last. How many years ago was the Crusades? And that is the indictment against other religions. Something that happened in the past. It just doesn't make sense to me. And this is how they've allowed these Islamists to go to continue doing what they are doing today. Is it what I want the people on the left to what the question I want them to answer is their argument that if we, the West, or let's say we Christians or whoever we are, as long as we are non-Muslims, if we've done something in the past, then it gives someone else who is a Muslim the right to do something in the present. Is that the argument? Like, is that the argument? I don't know if you understand. Like, is that your argument? If we, not me anyway, because I didn't do anything. Maybe someone that looks like me, someone who has the same views
you
as
were
mine.
Crusading, bro. I saw you crusading.
If someone like that has done something like that in the past, let's even forget the fact that Christianity is different in different regions. Nigerian Christians have never done anything like crusades. Christians in I don't think Christians in Libya, Christians in Somalia, Christians in Uganda, and all these places where they are being massacred have led any revolutionary war against any Muslim state before, ever.
Christians are the most persecuted
religious group on the planet. Yes. We are the most persecuted. People don't know that because most of the people who do the reporting on these things are in the West, and all they see is that if you just say, look at what that Muslim did, you're like, persecution, oppression. Why the real oppression? Why the real oppression is happening in Africa? People like, as the statistics we got recently with Nigeria is, I think every day 11 Christians are killed in Nigeria or so. I guess maybe I'm overstating the numbers, but something like that. That is what is happening in Nigeria right now. And then you are like, oh, but remember the Crusades. That is rubbish. It is a rubbish, stupid argument.
And like, was the Crusades so bad? Like, they just defended Europe from Muslim invaders?
From Muslims. That was what the Crusades was about.
You want the Muslims to come invade
today,
you? Or
today, the Crusades, it gets a bad rap. People are like, hey, because there's this view of anything white Christians do is just bad. I don't even know how Crusades, they were defending their land from Islamic invasion. That is what it was about. And today is like, oh no, they just went and they were just killing Muslims. And for that reason,
I think Muslims for 1,400 years they tried the way of sword, like what they're used to. It used to work for everybody. You conquer everybody with the sword, but they tried Europe and they tried Europe and they tried Europe and they never succeeded. And actually, they failed and failed. So they changed their strategy. They're not going to fight you with swords. They're going to fight you with propaganda and disinformation and ideological and with birth rates and taking over and acting like a refugee. And all of these are coordinated. This is Erdogan is coordinating this. Qatar is coordinating. Putin is coordinating. China is coordinating. All of this is playing together. This is all to do something. This is not all happening for nothing.
They've succeeded in for a generation. Like the way I see it, a part of the current generation of the West have been like mentally defeated. That's how I see it. Like they've been, for the most part, mentally defeated. Certain things that are supposed to make sense to the average person does not make sense to them, and everything that makes sense to them makes sense to only them.
There is a famous video about this KGB defector Yuri Beratsov, I think, and he's talking about how the KGB used to influence useful idiots like leftists and socialists in the West, and they're using the exact same tactic nowadays. And you can see the influence of these people. Like, let's say these pro-Palestine marches. What have they achieved? Anything else than diverting all the attention from Ukraine away to Israel and blame Israel for all the world's faults, at the same time Putin continues his imperialism. So this is all playing together. And
nobody's talking about Ukraine anymore. Nobody's talking. And Putin is still doing what he's doing. He's still going.
And now Putin is the good guy. Now he's the good guy. Now he's the
Oh,
guy who's like, oh, I condemn Israel. Israel is bad.
yeah.
I respect human rights and I have to save children. And
That's
uh,
what all of them do. Like, look at China. China is condemning Israel. Look at Turkey. Turkey is condemning Israel.
ridiculous. You're a genocider. Shut the fuck up. You genocided over 1 million Armenian people.
Even
You
Iran, the
genocided
Ayatollah
Kurdish
Khomeini,
people.
even the Ayatollah Khomeini is like, look at what Israel is doing. I'm like, even you talk really? If people are going to condemn Israel, and this
You?
leftists, they don't even think. If I have a past, a very horrific past, I've been a terrible person. I've hated every leftist cause in my life. Like, I've hated LGBTQ stuff. I've been against it. I've been the most homophobic, transphobic, fatphobic, whatever phobia I've expressed all of them. The only phobia I've not expressed is Islamophobia. As long as I'm that guy and they've hated me for years, if I come out right now and I say Israel is committing acts of genocide, boom, clean slate, I'm a hero.
Yes.
I'm that guy.
You're a hero.
Even somebody like me understands. That's what they will start saying. People will not think for a second, like, okay, why is this guy talking like this? Okay, if this guy is on my side, there is a problem here. I don't know if you understand. They will not even think like, yes, he's the man. I'm like, do you know this person that is their hero now? What is his name? Norman Finkelstein. The guy is transphobic as hell.
The Jewish guy.
The Jewish guy. That guy
Jewish guy. Yeah.
He's as transphobic as racist. As in the receipt of him being racist.
But now he's a good guy. Now he's a good guy. Because he hates Jews, he hates Israel, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a Jew. He hates Israel. He's against the Zionist occupation, the settler colonialist, and now he's a good guy. All your sins have been rolled away. If you want to be forgiven right now, I'm telling you guys now, if you've done things in the past and you want to be forgiven, get a kafir. Okay.
So, talking about Iran, talking about Iran and Hamas and all of this, in 2019, again, Social Democrats. I was not in the party anymore. I didn't want anything to do with politics anymore. I was just solely doing a blog and writing and stuff like that. And in 2019, I noticed that they have a guy called Hussein Al-Ta'i, which is he's a Shia Muslim from Iraq and from the areas that is controlled by Iran, like the proxy areas that is controlled by Iran. And his dad was like a big governor in Iraq, so he's an influential guy. And he became a PM, a member of parliament in the Social Democrat Party. And he wasn't suspicious at all at the beginning. Like, he seemed like he spoke very good Finnish, like an integrated person. He seemed like a liberal person, and he was getting feminist rewards from the Social Democrats and everything like that. And when I started to investigate him, I was like, dude, this is a Iranian regime supporter, like a full on.
I feel like it's easy for leftists to forgive. It's just a couple of things you have to do. Once you proclaim certain things, they easily forgive you and forget. Until one time, then they want to like bury you if you're a white man, especially the whites. Why? Once you're a white guy, it's usually hard to get forgiven.
And if you're a leftist, no problem.
All your sins are forgiven. It's so ridiculous. So, but circling back to you mentioned that in the 90s, right? Yeah. There was this influx of Somali refugees into Finland, and also from Iraq as well. And we are present, and we are doing so many atrocities, and we are not allowed to. We are not even deported or anything. We are they even imprisoned, if I may ask? Like, people who engage in this violent act, were they imprisoned, or were they given light sentences where you do something heinous, you let go?
Finnish justice system is mostly known as a joke amongst like Finnish people, because the most jail time you're gonna get is tax fraud, not paying bills, and financial crimes. Those get you the more jail time. Like you can go for 10s and 20 years or whatever, and other like violent crimes, rapes, drugs. All of these, they have a thing called, like, the more you do, the less reduced sentences you start getting.
Are you serious? That's like an encouragement to go out there.
I don't know.
Go out into the world,
English, but we make fun of it. Like for example, if you have like a previous sentence of rape and you rape again, the court will be, oh, he's been sentenced of rape before, so let's not go so hard on him this time. Like it
Maybe he
should be
would
the
change
opposite, right?
if we do not put him in prison again for the second time, maybe he will change. Maybe
Oh
he
yeah,
will change
maybe
his
he
ways.
will learn.
Yeah.
Maybe he will learn the
The,
third
the
time
first
he
the
rapes
first
somebody.
the first sentence made him hardened him, but if we let him go the second time, he will not do it again. And then what happens when he does it the third time? Maybe we should just Jesus.
It's bonkers. And
While in
like
Nigeria, there's a law that was passed in Nigeria recently that anybody who is guilty of rape will be castrated.
great.
I don't know why Finland is not considering that. That's great. I'm telling you, if you do it, that person will not be a repeat offender of ever again.
Guaranteed.
Try
I
it.
can guarantee you, he's not gonna do anything.
He will be alive. You don't have to throw him in prison. Just castrate him and it's done. I'm telling you, he will harass no woman ever again.
Put him in a forest or something. Just
You know.
the thing is, not even like the more you do, the less sentences you get. Like
Okay.
if you're a first timer of any crime, basically any violent crime, you get
Mm,
out in half time. So, for example, if I decided to murder my neighbor today and plan the
mm,
murder, I'll get
mm.
around 8 years, maybe 8 year sentence from it, and I'll
Not
sit
life.
around. No, I'll sit around 3.5.
Yeah.
Get out on parole. That is Finland for you.
Wow.
But if I don't pay my taxes, I do some shady money deals and stuff like that, I'm gonna go into jail for a long time. But lately they had this street gang icon, some Kurdish stupid Muslim guy called, what the fuck was his name? Milan Jaff. Like some young
Mm,
dude who started to do gangster rap and shit on the social media, and he got really into like gang culture and weapons, and he started shooting people on videos and stuff like
mm,
that. And they actually caught him very good, and they made
mm,
him an example. They gave him a 10-year sentence without like parole and without all of that. So he has to sit now 10 years, and they made him an example for all the other gang members we now have in Finland. All of these Muslim young men are mostly gang members, especially in Helsinki area. So
You know what is funny? When you said they made an example of him, I was like, okay, they gave him life. They gave him life. And then you said 10 years. I was like,
yeah.
oh,
But he's like we have a lot of news. The whole country is making fun of this guy because he was also sentenced of like molesting kids and drugs, and he was like a total clown on social media, doing
well.
stupid ass like running naked on the metro and doing these pranks, and he was like a menace, and
Mm,
everybody hates him. And like we very occasionally have news about him getting beat up in prison or getting spit on or whatever. Like he's getting it. He's getting it. Like I think they made a good example of it. And when he gets out, I don't think he's gonna repeat his bullshit. But
hopefully.
but,
Hopefully.
but yeah, it's a very very tolerant country. Like the prisons are not for punishing. They're like if you're a criminal, the system sees you as a victim of that system. Oh, we failed you. You became a criminal, so we're gonna help you and rehabilitate you and most that. And they don't really take into account that not all people want to be rehabilitated. Some people enjoy crime. They like that lifestyle. And so they don't really take that into account. But I want to get back to this Iran
Okay.
situation. In 2019, we had this Iranian hybrid influencer in Finland, and this Hussein Altai, and he was the member of parliament in Social Democrats. And when I exposed him, the whole party like didn't talk about it. The media didn't talk about it. He hated on Jews. He hated on Israel. He called for the death of the Saudi king. Like
Mm,
what the hell? And he spread misinformation about like the Illuminati controlling Israel, and they're all like bankers. And this is a member of parliament in Finland. Think about it. This is a member of parliament in a
well,
social democrat party.
in fairness, there's a congresswoman in America who spoke about Jewish space lasers. I don't know if you know.
There we go. There we go.
She's still a congresswoman. You all know who I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
all-
I know about the Jewish
and
space
she's not a
lasers.
Muslim, by the way. She's not a Muslim. She's a Christian. So I
Yeah, most
mean,
of these Christians, like Candace Owens, for example, is like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you flirting with Islam? Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
Did you see
honestly.
the video where she was like, "I want to apologize to Muslims for what we were told about"? And if you saw that video that she did before she was fired, one of her podcast episode where where she was like she wants to apologize to Muslim that after 9/11, after this when she was on her 9/11 was an inside job, routine, you know. Yeah, and she was like, she wants to apologize to the Muslims that they've been that after 9/11 they were all seen as criminals. The media painted them as criminals. And I was like, what are you talking about? What exactly are you talking about? After 9/11, it was the same thing over and over again. The next talk that everybody was talking about was fighting Islamophobia. That was what it was. You had the imams be the Muslim preachers coming on TV and reminding everybody for the umpteenth time that Islam is not about violence. That's what happened. The president of Nigeria, the president of America then, and the presidents and the leaders in the West, we are not Donald Trump. If it was Donald Trump, I knew he would say this Muslims, but that was not George Bush. That was not George Bush. He was very diplomatic with that kind of thing. The same thing with Barack Obama. When it had to do with Islam, everybody wants to, watch what you are saying, not offend any Muslim. The only president in recent history that I can remember who is bold enough to say something about Muslims is Donald Trump. That's in recent history. That's the one I know of, and also the I don't know if he's
I don't
still the
know. I
prime
don't know. It's
minister.
because of Donald Trump actually understanding anything of Islam, or it's just being his personality of
I
saying
think it's
shit
just
about
Trump.
everything.
It's just Trump being Trump. It's just I'm not even saying it like he's fighting it. No, that's not even how I see it. It's just Trump being Trump. Trump will be like the Mexicans are the ones bringing in the drugs. He doesn't care. He's not politically. Trump is not Jesus, politically correct. He doesn't try to be any of that. He's not PCing himself. He's not censoring himself. He's just straight. He says it as it is. He says it, and that's why Americans like him, because he's uncensored, So that's the only. But this talk about, oh, you need to cuddle these people and stuff like that, and coming to what is happening in Finland with regards to ISIS. You sent me, when we were preparing for this, you sent me this article, and I want us to read it because so many of the things in the article, especially from the there's this guy they interviewed while they were making this video. I think his name is Filandi, right? I don't know if I'm getting his name correctly, but we'll see his name in the article. Let me share my screen.
Abu al-Finlandi. You're talking about this guy who joined ISIS and he named himself al-Finlandi.
And the funny part is how he talks. I think what is more interesting to me is how he talks about the whole thing. It's like, Jesus, are you sure this guy has changed? Because people talk like, oh, he's no longer, but he calls himself the real Salafi, right? I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah, Salafis are not known to be peaceful. The last time I checked, they are pro-violence. Is there a brand of Salafism that is like, oh, we are peaceful, we don't believe in
What is the main sect of ISIS?
Salafis? No, when it comes to even the people that are causing, I don't know if you are aware of the problem that communities in Egypt are facing, especially the Coptic community, where they are throwing stones into their well. It was the Salafis that were doing that.
Yeah.
It was the
They're
Salafis
throwing and
that
like filling up
filling up the
water
well and
wells.
trying to burning certain communities on fire in Egypt, even in Egypt, and then you're like, oh, this Salafi is no longer, I'm no longer for violence. Anyways, but let's look at the article. Let me not talk too much. Let me share my screen here. Yep. Why is my screen bleeping?
It's doing some
Let me remove it.
bleepy.
Stop screen share. Let me try something. Guys, bear with me. This is amateur hour. This is amateur hour. Let me try again.
Actually, I don't know if I can find a video, but there is a YouTube video of this guy riding a donkey in middle of Raqqa, and he's actually speaking Finnish. He's like saying, "My brothers come to Raqqa, and you can get a wife, you get a donkey, you go to fight."
Is it the same? Is it the same, like this same guy we are talking about? Like this.
I'm not sure. It was some Somali guy on the video. I'm not sure if it's this guy. This might be some
and he's like,
guy.
come here, you're going to get a wife.
Yeah, you get a free house, you get a wife, you get a donkey.
So this is the Vice article, and guys, this is from Vice. So I mean, you know what it took them to say. You know, we are going to, this is
Yeah.
Vice. This is not Israel Times. Okay, this is not.
This was written in the high time of ISIS activity, global ISIS activity in 2017 when they were all going
17
to
years.
Syria and Iraq. This was written then.
Okay. Maybe Vice now there. I don't know if Vice is still on. I thought that somebody it was sold or something like that. But
This was
Vice
before.
now
This was before it was went
it was
full
sold. Right?
full bullshit. They still had some dignity at this point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, in 2017, we are still like, our head is not gone. We still have some brain cells left. Okay, so 2 women were stabbed to death in Toko on Friday in what authorities say is the first terror attack to be carried out on Finnish soil. And from what you just told us, that's actually not the first terror attack. The first wave of terror attack would be in the 90s, right?
I don't know if we would count it as like terrorism, more like
Okay,
a lot of
okay, I get
hooliganism
that.
and crimes and
I
stuff
get
like
that
that.
because the person was not shouting Allahu Akbar. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. He had
The
like full on
victim,
his phone was full of like ISIS videos and materials and sheikhs talking to him and everything.
yeah,
Full pack.
that's very interesting. Okay, the victim, aged 66 and 31, died as 8 others were wounded by an 18-year-old Moroccan suspect named as well, I'm not good at
Oh,
pronouncing it. Named as
the name is wrong. It was actually Abdurrahman Bonane. So I
you
think
see.
that name is wrong over there. It was fixed later.
Okay. Who witnesses say shouted Allahu Akbar while chasing women during the stabbing spree? Let me make this thing bigger. I don't know if people who are okay. I hope it's big enough now. Okay. Authorities
Yeah.
would not confirm whether he shouted Allahu Akbar, only saying only saying they are treating the incident as a terror attack and that women appear to be the target. Uh, Mecca is believed to have come to Finland as an asylum seeker last year. That's in 2016, and lived initially
In
in
a
a center
center
for
of minors. Think about it.
minors.
These are like ISIS children, like ISIS cubs. They had in
Wow.
ISIS. They trained them like from 2014 to 2017. So if this guy was like 17 when he came into Finland, I think
Mm.
he got like trained around 14, 13 in Syria and Iraq. And when he came to Finland, he was like full on radicalized already.
Wow. Wow. And there was no. Why do the West make this kind of like? Why do they take this kind of risk? Is like thinking? I know Nigeria does. I'll be fair with you. Like in Nigeria, we do take our own risk too. But I understand why we are doing our own because we are corrupt. Okay. In
Yeah,
Nigeria, we have
these
Boko
people
Haram.
do it for nothing, man. These people do it for nothing. Believe me, they do it for nothing. But they
What do you
there's no
stand to
choice.
get? Like in Nigeria, for example, you have these people they call repentant Boko Haram. People, the same way they treat terrorists in the West is kind of the same way we treat terrorists here
They
in
pat
Nigeria.
their heads. Please don't do it
Yeah,
again.
they don't go to, they don't have, many of them don't serve prison sentence. If you surrender or you get caught, it doesn't matter. Getting caught and surrender, there's no difference. In fact, as a terrorist in Nigeria, you have 2 options. It's either you get caught or you get killed. So if you don't die, if you don't die as a terrorist, you are safe because you'll be rehabilitated. They claim to rehabilitate these people and then reintroduce them back to the society. Some of them go abroad to study. Some of them go to Turkey to study. I wonder what they are learning in Turkey. Very wonderful place for rehabilitation. That's where they go, they study, they come back, and some of them join the Nigerian army. Then those are the people who are now going to go out to fight other Boko Haram members.
Great.
And then you wonder why the war on terror in Nigeria has taken so long. I'm surprised too. All of us are shocked. We can't explain.
It's very interesting. But the thing with these Islamist minors, it was a big issue in Finland in 2015 when a lot of these young Arab men came, and they'd been all told that if you're underage, the process of getting the asylum will be much easier. So all of them
mm,
started to say, "Oh, I'm 17. I don't have papers." And
mm,
when some opposition parties at that point suggested that we could do some health tests, maybe check their teeth, know how old they are, the
mm,
leftists totally rejected that. They were like, "This is against human rights. We're not going to test anybody's age."
mm.
And it took a
Yeah.
lot of these, like there is a famous picture. If you want to Google, I swear I am 17, Finland,
Let me check.
and
Let me
and, and
check.
look at
I'm
the
very sure
picture.
I'm going to see an old man.
I swear I am 17, Finland. It's a picture of obviously like a guy who looks like my dad speaking to the prime minister of that time, Juha Sipilä, and saying on live television that I might not look it, but I swear I am 17. And this dude looks older than my dad. You can find the picture, you can find it. I swear I'm 17, Finland.
I'm looking for it. I can't find it. I
Okay,
can't find
whatever.
it.
But
Sorry,
I,
my
I can
search
maybe
system is
send it
kind
to
of
you
messed.
someday.
Yeah, yeah, if you can, because my search history will just show me mostly Nigerian stuff.
Yeah.
Because
So so those things are very common. We had a police officer that was, now he's discharged because he was really crazy. A police officer from the Helsinki police, and he was
mm,
known from like going onto Twitter and talking like very soft things about jihad and Islam,
mm,
and how jihadism is actually just being a good Muslim trying to be better Muslim. Like, some Islamists say my jihad is my personal route or whatever, and
personal
he was,
struggle.
yeah, my personal style, Mein Kampf. And he was like spreading all of this shit. This guy called Yari Taponen, and he's very famous from this underage issue.
Mm,
There was this terrorist, actually, what you're talking about. I don't know if it
mm,
was this terrorist or some other terrorist that was exposed that he was not actually 17. He was like something like 30, and he
mm,
went to the same middle school than
mm.
actual 15 and 17 years olds. A
Wow.
terrorist went to the middle school with kids. And when
Mm,
people ask this police on Twitter, like, what do you think about this? Like, how can you allow 30-year-old
mm.
terrorists be in the middle school with our kids?
Yeah,
And
be
this
with
police is
children,
famous.
expose them to
Yes.
children. This is like Jesus Christ. What are you doing? This is you really just want these children to become terrorists too. You introduce
Yeah.
somebody who
And
can
you want
influence
the
them.
girls to get raped, and this is what you want. But
Exactly.
but but the most mind-blowing thing is how this police responded. He said,
What is
education does good for a terrorist too.
that is the
I'm
most
not kidding.
leftist
I'm
thing
not
to say.
kidding.
That is
I'm
that
not
is the
fucking
most
kidding.
left. I know, but that's the most leftist thing to say. Yeah, are you trying
Yeah.
to tell it? Are you trying to tell me that terrorists don't need education? That is the most leftist
Yep.
thing to say. That's so
Well, the
that
same
is so
police,
leftist.
when I
That
wrote
is
an
so
article
wrong.
about
So
him,
wrong on that.
I wrote an article about him explaining that he's like doing all of this bullshit, talking shit about Islam, making up shit, defending terrorists and whatever.
Mm.
He himself, as a police officer, reported me. He himself, as a police officer, reported me as a criminal of defaming him. I'm serious. And it took a week for his superior to call me and be like, "We're sorry, we'll handle this. Like, just can you just forget about this?" Like,
I think like Finland need to look about like their speech laws. They need to look into it. I mean, it's more
Finland has
ridiculous.
blasphemy laws. We have blasphemy laws from the 1800s, like the 1900s. We still have the same blasphemy laws. You can get jail sentence from burning a Quran.
Hmm.
We still have them. It's crazy. This is
But
not a
if somebody
progressive
burns the
country.
Bible, do you think the person will go to jail?
No, no,
If
definitely not.
it,
Because I've done this test.
definitely.
I've done this test. When I used to have a TikTok account of like 10 to 15,000 followers, which obviously got banned at some point because I talk about Islam and you cannot talk about Islam on TikTok. I did a
No.
test. I burned a Quran. No, I burned the
Mhm.
Bible first, okay, on the live stream. I'm just casually burning the Bible. Nobody gave a single fuck. Like Christians will come to the chat and be like, "Oh, cool. Which version is it? Oh, cool. Okay, cool, fine." And nothing, absolutely nothing. And the other day, I did the same with the Quran. I went to in the middle of a freaking jungle. I think you can even find a picture of me if you write my name and Quran burn. You can find me like being a really gobbling burning this Quran in the forest. But that absolutely like people went batshit about it. Like I got hundreds of death threats on the fucking TikTok live, and I had
And then
thousands of
and
people over there.
I'm very sure that was probably the first step towards you losing that account.
Yes, and a week after, I have, of course, the police is, oh yeah, you're blaspheming against Islam because we have blasphemy laws.
That's crazy.
You are making it hard for Muslims. That was the crime. And then I had
you're
to,
hurting their feelings.
yeah, I had to write them a whole essay about something like 15 different cases of Finnish people burning Qurans. No, Finnish people burning Bibles, and you not persecuting them. So you're being racist. I wrote them. You're being racist. You let the Finnish people burn the Bible, but you don't let a Middle Eastern ex-Muslim burn the Quran. What is this racism? And when I explained that, the prosecutor just dropped it. She was like, we're not gonna go to the court. This is embarrassing for us. You know? It just dropped it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I think even a legal reform is so many things are necessary in Finland, but other countries have the same problem. Like even in Nigeria here, I don't know if nobody has thought of burning any, like we don't think about burning books and stuff like that. You know, so I've never seen anybody burn the Bible or burn the Quran in Nigeria because nobody wants that smoke. Nobody wants that problem with anybody. Just let it go, do whatever you want. But I'm very sure that if someone is to burn the Bible in Nigeria, nobody will have an issue with it. I mean, people have said worse things, maybe not done things, but like against Christianity. People have said so many things in Nigeria, criticized pastors, call Christianity a scam, call it a fraud. They've done all kinds of things in Nigeria.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You know, they're just, in fact, the average Nigerian, their sentiment towards the whole thing is just leave this person and God. God, you know, leave the person in the hand of God. God will answer him. You know, God will answer. You know, he's not talking against me. He's not talking against Christianity or me as a Christian. He's talking against God, and God will answer the person. You know, but Muslims, you say one thing about Muslims, and it has happened so many times in Nigeria. Just I remember the story I told you guys about the student in Sokoto who was killed. She's just one of many who have been killed for, you know, blasphemy, so to speak. Even though some of them we don't even get to know what they said. That's the funny thing in Nigeria, is that you hear somebody died and it was blasphemy related, and you don't even get to know what was said. You just believe, okay, it was blasphemy, it was probably blasphemy. We don't know, and the person is dead. No trial, nothing. And even in states where they have Sharia law and they have like blasphemy laws in those Sharia law in those states, yet those people don't make it to trial. They just get killed in the streets. But always remember that in the 1500s, there was blasphemy laws in England. So I guess...
Hey, we still have them. We still have them. We still have them. But they don't get applied. They only get applied to Islam. I can do anything against any other religion. I can do anything. Nobody cares. It only gets applied. These laws only get applied to Islam, and it's proven because the police even didn't care. I burned the Bible. No police integration. I burned the Quran. Suddenly, I'm in the police station again, and it's very obvious what they're like trying to do. And actually today, I had a message from the police. Another defamation case. Surprise, surprise. I wrote an article a week ago.
You have three defamation
three open cases now. So the latest one. Let's start with the latest one. Is
in Nigeria, you're what we call a customer. You're not a customer in the police station.
Yes, I am a very known. They're my fans, bro. The last time I went there, the guy wanted a selfie with me. The fucking police wanted a selfie with me. Like you can't be my fan and do this to me at the same time, you know. But it was an article about. I actually sent a link to you about this ISIS-linked Salafi Somali mosque that actually like a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, they faked as if somebody had burned the door of their Quran or something like that, and they got a lot of media attention, and the imam started saying that, oh, the government has to sponsor us and give us more money so we can help
Is this
these
the story?
yes, this one, this exactly this one. And she is this is there is an English version of this. If you go down,
There's an English. I
I've
wanted to
written it in.
translate it.
Yeah, if you go to the go up up, and just like go up to the yeah, you can just translate it, whatever. I
Where's
have the
my
English
translate?
version of it. You can just, if you go to the main site, just go to the main site, like up, and there is a button called in English. Just press like the logo. Yeah,
This
yeah, just
logo
yeah, and then in English in the
in
menu,
English.
there's in
Oh,
English, and there is the article is actually in English also. So the second one there.
okay. All right. So
So
here's the
apparently, I have defamed this very peaceful Salafi ISIS
which of them did
connected
you
imam,
defend? The lady or the guy?
the imam.
The imam. What did you
Yeah.
say? What have you said against this
Well,
wonderful
well,
guy? Look at his beautiful smile.
this article is apparently criminal in Finland. So
Is that okay? The title of the article is Finnish children ombudsman met with radical imam and praised him. I was swarmed by neo-Nazis after
mm,
criticizing her.
yeah, think about it. So this guy is a Salafi imam that is
Mm-hmm.
teaching the youth not to integrate, to be like ISIS minded, to become
Mm,
criminals, to become gang members and stuff like that. He
mm-hmm.
in his mosque he's doing this, but in public
Mm,
image he's saying that, oh, we mosques, you need to help us get more this Muslim youth so we can make them good Muslims so they don't become criminals.
mm,
That was his pitch, and the children's
mm.
ombudsman met him and fucking praised him for this. The guys, his motives are to get more soldiers,
It's to get more children in so that he can radicalize them. That is
Yes,
his
get more
motive.
children in the mosque. And Finnish government officials, ombudsmen are helping them. And I wrote an
Mm.
article about this. If you can scroll down, like it's talking about the normal alliance of the red greens and the Islamists and whatever, whatever.
Let
And
me
you
see
can
how
see
long
his
it is. Let me see if I can.
congregation if you go up.
Is this his
This is
post
like
or who is this?
no, this is like fucking Nazis swarming me after I criticize them. But if you go up, you can see
Okay,
like that picture, the second picture, this one, that's that
okay,
one.
these are the youths that he is raising.
Yeah. What is that hand sign? What you know about this?
Yeah,
What is
that's
that
one.
hand sign? Who
That's
uses that hand sign? Do normal Muslims dress like this and use those hand signs?
of course not. These
Yeah.
are
So when I write the truth that they are radicals, they're ISIS connected, they are using ISIS hand signs, and
signs. Yes.
they are like,
This is there's one God and it's Allah.
yeah, it's
That's kind of like
takbir.
the
It's Allahu Akbar takbir, and this
wow,
is what
yeah.
ISIS popularized. The finger sign
Mm,
proclaims Islam is the only true religion. When Islamists
religion.
use this gesture, it reinforces an ideology that's called for the destruction of the West and all forms of pluralism. That is
Mm-hmm.
basically what that symbolizes. Like there
That's
is
what
only
it is.
one
That's
God,
what it
one
is.
ummah, one Muslim, and one caliphate, and like it's like Hitler saying one nation, one God, and one leader, and whatever. That's the
Yeah,
exact
exactly,
same thing.
exactly. And this is their
The
guy. Look at him
the imam is
smiling,
that. Yeah, he's like
smiling
smiling,
happily.
always very smiley. And most of these youth over here are known TikTok gang blood people. Like these. Oh, yo, man, how much does your fit cost? And all of this bullshit, yeah, roadman bullshit. They're all roadmen, and they all go to
Mm,
this mosque. Uh,
mm.
and he's
This
saying
is
that
this,
bring me
this
more youth.
picture alone is scary. Not
He's
to be
he's saying
racist,
bring me more
but
youth.
it is
Bring
scary.
me more youth and pay me money to integrate them. And they
Mm.
believe him. They believe him. They are helping him. They are meeting him.
Yeah,
They are praising him. They are putting him on the state media, and he's spewing all of this bullshit. And when I write an article about what the truth is,
they
I'm in the
hit you with a
police station
defamation
again.
lawsuit.
They hit you with the defamation again.
Can you
So
imagine?
anybody who knows anything about Islam and the Middle East can look at this picture and immediately be like, "Yeah, those are ISIS
Yeah,
guys."
yeah.
Immediately,
Yes,
immediately. You don't
yes.
even have to know a lot. You can look at them and be like, "Yeah, ISIS types."
These are ISIS.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Like if I see a picture of somebody going like this Nazi sign,
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously gonna be that this guy is Nazi. Right? But no, apparently in
Exactly.
Finland, like I said, in Finland they don't know shit. The police doesn't know shit. They don't understand what this symbolizes. They don't understand what those people are. And when I write the truth, these people use the police and be like, "Oh, this crazy racist Islamophobe is calling is this and that is defamation."
Hmm.
That is
It's
my
really
issue
sad.
in Finland.
It's really sad, and they've mastered how to use the system,
Yes.
you know, to get what they
Police is
want.
spewing their propaganda. The police is saying, "Oh, it's good for jihadists to get an education. Jihad is
Hmm.
about personal growth, for
Yeah,
struggle."
it's about inward struggle with Dunya. You know,
Yes,
that is what.
the police here, the police whose job was to uh, like look after youth radicalization that they don't actually radicalize. It was his job. He
Hmm.
for 5 years on state media, this guy lied that there is not a single street gang on Finland. For five
Hmm.
years, he lied, and it was his job to actually prevent them to happen. He
Hmm.
lied. He lied for 5 years. He said there is no Muslim street gangs. What you are seeing with your own eyes is a lie. For 5 years. And then he got discharged. They kicked him out of the police for all of this lying. But
He
how is
should have
that?
even gotten more than that. He should have got. He should have gotten more than. He should have gotten more
Yeah.
than just a discharge. He should. Oh Jesus Christ, this is bad. He should have gotten jail sentence for this. This is bad. And
No,
imagine the it's not going to
imagine
happen in
the
Finland.
girls. Imagine the raped girls you could have prevented just by talking about.
Imagine the street violence, the bloodshed that he could have prevented if he had just done his job.
No, but he
You know, and
wanted
then
to be anti-racist. He wanted to be tolerant. He
this
wanted
is
the
this
praise. He wanted to get on television and get the praise of being such an anti-racist.
this is bad. And then there's another one.
Yep.
I think
And
this is
this is
another
another defamation case.
this is another
Uh,
article of yours that is
if you just right click anywhere, you can
yeah.
translate it.
This is your
No,
what
go
did
back,
you
go back,
say in this one that is getting
go back, go back.
okay.
I don't have an English version of this, so if you can just go back to this. Hello? What happened? Which one of us got? Which one of us? Is this my chat now? This is my live stream now, boys. Boys and girls, welcome to Anter's show. I have just hijacked Frank because he has a Nigerian internet, and Nigerian internet sucks ass. Yeah, you hear me, but you don't hear him because he has the Nigerian internets. So we'll do. I'll answer some questions maybe until he comes back. This is my show now. This is my channel now. So let's go. Hello. Free Tomaj, yes. Free him. I had an article up on him there also. Oh, he left completely. Now I'm alone here. This is officially my channel now. So this is the Finnish perspective with Ante Yaşa. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back. I can
I'm
hear
back.
his voice. I can hear back. He's back. What happened?
As it was a minor issue. Don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, I told them it was Nigerian internet.
It was actually. It was. It was. Can you imagine? I'm looking for where to translate. It's usually easy to see it on my phone. I don't know why when I'm looking.
No. Just right click any empty place on the article.
Okay, right
Like
click.
any no, just
Okay.
like any empty place,
Yep.
and then you can translate to English.
I just did. The left alliance marched together with Hamas terrorists. They declare ethnic cleansing of the Jews on the steps of the parliament building.
Yeah,
The
they said
Left
river
Alliance.
to the sea. Look at the picture. There is the left side picture is a member of parliament from the Left Alliance called Veronica Honkasalo.
Okay.
And she's posing next to like these balaclava clad Hamas supporters chanting river to the sea.
I mean, if so, is she the one who made the complaint about defamation against
Yes.
you?
Yes, apparently I am also defamating this lady because I wrote facts about what she did.
I don't
Yeah,
even understand. I don't even, when I think of the West, usually when it comes to free speech, and I think of the West, maybe my term of reference have always been the United States, right? Because in the
yeah.
US, you can write whatever about public figures, you can write whatever about politicians. It's fair, they are fair game, right? But it looks like
Not
in
in Finland.
Finland, that's not the case. That's obviously not the case.
Finland
Which
doesn't have freedom of speech. Finland has the freedom of the state media to say whatever the fuck they want.
so
That's what they have.
only the state media can defame people.
Yes. They can say
And
whatever they want. Nobody else can.
just because anyway, there's something here. I read this first thing you wrote and I was like, yeah, they should hit you with a defamation lawsuit. Why will you say this? Let me read it. Despite the warning of ex-Muslims, expat, and integrated refugees for years, the Finnish Green Leftist Society has not taken them seriously, and now we see all the things about which the brave ex-Muslims who fled Islamism and integrated have warned for their lives under hundreds of death threats, and only become censored, backed at, fined, ordered to leave the country, and smeared by Finnish radical green leftists, as well as the media field and judiciary controlled by them. When I read this, I was like, yeah, you kind of, the way you're saying it, they will not like it. And maybe another thing about Finland is how many people live in Finland? What is the entire population of the country?
A little above 5 million.
Oh, here's the problem. Nigeria is 200 million. If I write something
Yeah.
like this in a little blog, nobody cares. Nobody's going
Nobody
to be like,
cares.
who is
Yeah.
that guy that spoke? Oh, well, but you are like a little above 5 million. So if one person says something, everybody's going to. So you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But
And this is like the yeah.
but I hope this does not. What is the sentence? What's the sentence like for defamation?
It's something like they want some money, I think. They will
Yeah, you
have to
don't.
like, oh, I lost money because of your defamation and blah 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 blah. You lost jobs or
So what is the
whatever.
job that you lost now by virtue of the fact that you defamed her?
Absolutely fucking nothing. This is just to shut the immigrant up because a
Yeah,
white lady wants to kill Jews. That's what it
essentially.
is.
That's
Yeah.
essentially what it is at this point. How dare you stop a white Finnish woman from calling for the death of Jews? You
Yeah.
Kurdish
Bad me.
migrant
Racist
who
me.
hate
Racist
Muslims.
me.
How
Yes.
dare you stop this woman from wanting to kill the Jews that control the entire world?
Yeah. How
I
dare I?
mean,
How dare I? No, Frank. You and your Nigerian internet. I have been banned again from YouTube. Muhammad, come to Mexico. We'll okay. We'll answer some questions again until he's back. Man is doomed to build a throne. The man will destroy the tower. Blah blah blah. Oy, oy, oy. Let's have you guys ask some questions. I don't know. Anter plus miinus kanavatilaus. Miinus plus kanavatilaus. Nigerian internet be like, go follow me on Twitter. Go sub me on YouTube. All of my handles are the same. Anter Yaşa X everywhere. Instagram, whatever. Anything is okay. Just go follow me. Do you identify as a Finnish? I used to. For a long time, I used to force myself to think that I am as Finnish as everybody else. But lately, I've noticed that I am not as Finnish as everybody else because I kind of lost respect for Finnish people when I see how they grovel in front of Islamists and do all kind of this bullshit against me. I've kind of started to embrace my other identities more. I don't really call myself Finnish, and when I address Finnish people, I don't say we I say they. Uh, yeah, but I do speak like native Finnish. Like if I talk to you on phone, like you wouldn't know I'm not a Finnish person. Do you speak Swedish? Finnish is a joke language. Nej, jag talar på inte svenska. Please read the Quran next live stream, please. You haven't even read it. Actually, I have read it, and it's a bunch of bullshit. Isn't that a? Thank you very much. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
He sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
You and your internet. I'm gonna send you one of those Elon Musk's.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck.
Do you know that I was actually thinking of buying it. Like there was this live stream that I had. After that live stream, I was like, nah, I need to buy. I was thinking of buying it. I was like, well,
You,
let's
you,
keep it in the thoughts. Let's keep it.
you
Let's
know
keep it.
what's our like how much we pay for internet and what our speed is in Finland?
I have no idea.
I pay
But I think yeah.
around 20 euros a month, and my internet speed is 1 gigabyte a second. So it's like I can download a DVD movie in a minute.
Wow.
it's,
Wow.
it's crazy. It's crazy. We
Hey,
have
Nigeria, are you guys hearing this? Are you guys hear what he just said? If there's any Nigerian
hey,
right now, did you guys just hear what he just said?
that's what I'm saying. Like Finland is very forward in communications. Like Nokia, we sent the first SMS. We made the
Wow.
phones, uh, PCs, all of this. This is very Finnish. Internet culture is very Finnish. Like first of these 4chan boards and everything. Like if you look at them,
Mm,
the overrepresentation of Finnish people is huge. It's
mm.
compared to other internet users, especially in the beginning of 90s and 2000s. Like Finnish people were overrepresented everywhere on the internet. So there
Wow,
is that kind of thing.
that's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. Hopefully I will get my new say what is it called now? Starlink very soon. So I can be like
You
Finnish
have to
people.
shout out some Elon Musk to get that,
Yeah,
or you know,
maybe
you
he
could
will
go to
watch.
Ukraine and steal one. Just like grab one,
Right?
come
Or maybe
back.
if we have war in this country, then they'll just
I
I
need
don't know how
this.
it
I live in Nigeria. I need this. You don't need this.
It's a funny, but I keep seeing. Funny enough, I keep seeing the ads everywhere online. Like I keep seeing the ads. Like I would think about it. I would think, what was I even talking about before my internet decided? I need to log out for a minute.
We were talking about that leftist lady that is calling me for defamation. But anyways,
Okay.
that's the second case that I have open right now. The third one is a
Mm-hmm.
known feminist activist, like this
Mm-hmm.
woke feminist activist that
Mm-hmm.
she was defending hijabs at the time of this Iranian hijab revolutions. She was like, "Oh, it's like it's not different than us having dress codes in bathing rooms or saunas. Like they have dress codes. What's so wrong about it?" And I wrote on not even an article. I wrote like a Twitter post or Facebook. I don't even remember where I wrote it, but I wrote something like, "She's fucking stupid. She would get whipped in a Muslim country, right? They would whip her to
Mm,
death."
mm.
And the police is now investigating that not only as defamation but also a threat. Apparently, I am threatening to whip her. According to the police, I am threatening to whip her when I wrote that she would be whipped in a Muslim country.
This is so
Like
crazy.
they have no context. They don't understand. They don't
You don't
understand why
understand.
she would be whipped in a
That
Muslim
was
country.
clearly said. Oh, if you are in this country, they'll whip you to death, which is true. It's not like a dress code. It's different in that
No, they don't
if you
understand.
don't wear it, you'll be beaten. Somebody was in fact why there was a major controversy and then there was a riot and it became a huge thing was because somebody was the morality police in Iran, arrested a woman and whipped the woman, and I think she died or so. And then it sparked that controversy, and then women were revolting, and men too were joining them, and that's how it began. It's not like dress code. It's the same. It's the same tactics Muslims use. They minimize. I see it even when I watch videos of people Muslims reacting to because I have so many people reacting to the videos that I do. And I will be like, let me make a video reacting to them. But I'm like, this is what you're even saying is so stupid. Why am I reacting to it? Because what I see mostly that they do is they minimize. They try to minimize your criticism. They make it look like it is nothing. I can
Yes.
make a video and say, oh, look at what is being done to Muslim children in Nigeria. And a Muslim guy would just be like, it's just religious education. What is wrong about that? And I'm like, no, it's not religious education, it's indoctrination. And the only thing you are teaching these children is just Arabic. And there's nothing, you cannot function properly in a modern society with just Arabic knowledge. What else is it? I mean, is this with Arabic knowledge that you work in the bank? Is that how you're going to, work
No,
in the
but
hospital?
you can
Is
drink
that
some camel piss.
and
There's
when you point
options.
And when you point out this, the Muslim person who is reacting to you, just minimize it and be like, oh no, it's just the same as this. And the people who listen to them in the West are like, yeah, maybe it is just like that. And I don't know why there is this. For me, I feel there's this eagerness among people in the West to buy whatever excuse that the Muslim come up with. They're eager to buy it and be like, oh yeah, it has to be just like that. They don't even give you, who is like the critic of the religion. They don't even give you like the benefit of a doubt of, okay, maybe he has a point. Let me look into this further or something. Let me not just take everything this Islamists say or this Muslim apologists say. Let me not take it like it is gospel. Let me doubt it for a minute. As just give it the benefit of a doubt. Give all of us the benefit of a doubt. Don't just somebody minimizes something and then you be like, oh, it has to be like that. And for me, I think it's ridiculous that you don't even okay, let me do some research. There's Google. Google is free. Check it out and see if it's really the same thing, because it is not.
They will
You
do
know.
it. They will first. They will character assassinate you, ad hominems, whatever. Well, you're crazy. You're schizophrenic. You're Islamophobic. And the second one, what they do is gaslighting. They're like, oh, this doesn't exist. You're making it up. Uh, like minimize it, like you said. So those are very known tactics that they always use, and I've seen leftists use the same things about Islam. You can
Yeah, they,
see.
they use the same. It's like Islamists went and learned from, I don't know who taught who. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just, like minds thinking alike. you know, but they just have the same tactics, the same. They say, I've even been called a cherry picker. When I report something that happened, let's say I report what happened in Egypt, and people will be like, oh, you are cherry picking. I'm like, okay, fair enough. There's a Muslim who I was in close communication with after I started criticizing Islam. And he sent me, I made a video one time, and then he was telling me that I was cherry picking. And I said, why do you say I'm cherry picking? He was like, oh, there are many instances of this, and you did not point out, all the example of people who were murdered that year or whatever. And it's just this one that you decided to talk about. And then I told him, do you know how many people get murdered in the United States every day? And do you know how many is being reported by CNN? Does that mean that CNN is cherry picking? Right?
Perhaps.
Do I have to report every murder? What am I, the police? Do I have to report every murder? No, they report only high profile murders. That is what will make the news. It has to be high profile. There's something about it that will make everybody talk about it. It has to be newsworthy. That is why you report it. And the incident that the person was even talking about was something that happened in India. I think I even mentioned it in the last podcast we did. It was something that happened in India, and it was devastating. It was shocking. It was like, how could this happen? And then no major news organization in the West, or even major news organization in India, was reporting the story. So this is something that's supposed to be high profile, and it was not even being treated as high profile. And maybe because of the detail, the fact that two Muslim brothers decided to kill the children of their neighbor, two of the children of their neighbor, and then one of the brothers was killed, when he was trying to escape. And during his funeral, over like 10,000 Muslims, were present at his funeral. And for me, what even made this story really more troubling was not even the style with which these children were killed, because razor was used. In fact, it was rumored that the brother drank the blood of the children after he slit their throat with a razor. It wasn't even that. It was the fact that after all of this happened, during the funeral, we have a huge crowd of Muslims attending that funeral. That means they don't see this person as somebody who did something bad. Like, why are you at his funeral? 10,000 people at your funeral is that you are a king. You're a king. A king just passed away. You get what I'm saying? And that is why, in fact, if you watch my video, that was even what I zeroed in on. Like, why are 10,000 Muslims present at this guy's funeral? And because I said that, I'm a cherry picker. And the people, the Muslim people that they are making these videos for, or these reaction videos, or this, or whoever it is they are making these reaction videos for, I don't know if they even think, like, as in ask themselves certain questions, or ask questions as they listen to this video, like, okay, even if he's cherry picking, even if that's the case that he's cherry picking, there's something about this particular case that is troubling. And what is the answer to the troubling element of this particular case? No answer. Just call me a cherry picker, and that's it.
I don't know what to say. It's just they have a lot of tactics, I think, like to lie
And
and
now the
further
one
the
they're using
agenda.
for you is to call you a defamer.
Yeah, to call you a defamer. It works in Finland, but basically Finland is at the point where you remember when Trump was president at this first time, 2016, 2017, he said something about Sweden not being Sweden anymore. He said like,
Mm.
oh, even Sweden is horrible, and people were making fun of him. I don't know, not Sweden. Sweden is the
But it's true.
most progressive country ever. And then
I mean,
then
they
a
gave us
year.
Greta. Sweden gave us Greta Thunberg, right? I
Oh,
mean,
I don't even get it. I don't even care. But the thing is, now it hasn't even been so many years, and now it's openly known that Sweden is a haven of gang violence and
I mean,
rape and terrorism and totally fucked. So
Sweden is messed up. Sweden is so messed up. The news coming from Sweden is so bad. I mean, I
so
think there are
it,
even areas that have been taken over by gangs, Somali gangs in
yeah.
Sweden.
So Finland at this point
Mm-hmm.
is at that point where Sweden was when we didn't talk about this. So
Hmm.
we are at that point in Finland. We don't really talk about it, what's going on, but we know the same thing that
Very
happened to
soon.
Sweden that we now talk about is happening here, but we do the same thing. We
No,
don't talk about it
talk about
until
it.
it's completely fucked. And then we will be like, oh, what happened?
How did we get here? What happened? What are we going to do to these migrants? And I don't think Finland in the next, like, from what you've said and from what we've read, I don't think Finland in the next 10 years or maybe in the next 5 years is going to consider mass deportation. Unlike in places like, what's the name of this? I don't know
Estonia,
which
somebody's just asking that. Is Estonia less woke than Finland? Most definitely. Most definitely. Estonia is the place to go if you want to get rid of these wokeness. They know what they're dealing with. They only got their independence from the Soviet Union at 92. It hasn't they're
Hmm.
as old as a country as I am. They know what Russia did. They know what wokeness and socialism and all of this bullshit is. They
Yeah,
know.
they know what
Finland
they
doesn't
know,
know. We
which
don't
is sad.
know.
Which is sad, which is just so sad, which is just so sad. And that is why you can have somebody like what is his name? Filandi, and
Yeah,
people are like,
Finlandia.
maybe he has changed. Maybe he
He's
has changed. There,
changing.
there are a couple of issues here in this article that are okay. Here's a paragraph that talks about the rate at which Finland is producing ISIS members. So the most recent major analysis of foreign fighters in Syria found this quiet corner of Europe has the highest percentage of Muslims per population joining ISIS in the world. The
Think
actual
about what
number
that
of
what that means, Frank. What that means is Finland, compared to the size of the Muslim population, has the most radical Muslim
hmm,
population in the world, in the most liberal country in the world.
oh, it's not even in the West, it's in the world.
In the world.
Wow. Didn't I was even when I that's why I call it like I thought it was in the West. Now I'm realizing that it is actually in the world. Wow. And this is a
more
liberal
radical
society.
Muslims, more radical Muslims than in Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan. The average Muslim on a Finnish street is like on the level of a Taliban, basically.
Hmm. 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 This is really
Yeah,
man. If there's any Finnish person watching, please, it should be a wake-up call. Like you guys need to start talking about this. There need to be an awareness in that society because if the trajectory continues, no, it's the future is not looking. If this trend continues, is this is problematic. This is a liberal society based on the size of the population is producing more radical Muslims than
Yeah.
any other place in the world. That is
Because
problematic.
these idiots don't know what radical Islam looks like. They don't know. They think they see like this very radical ISIS dude. They're like, oh, exotic Orientalism, multiculturalism. They don't know. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh no, no. They need to listen to ex-Muslims. They need to is as you cannot, and the truth is you will not get it from mainstream media. You will not get it from them.
No,
So you have to go to alternate sources. Like, nah, this
like
is
you,
this is
Frank.
problematic.
Like you, Frank.
Like me, like people in the country, like Anta, he knows these people. They need to get, because I'm very sure you will not get this from the mainstream media in Finland. They will not talk about it because
Oh
one is
no, no,
they don't
no,
even know, you know. It's even the
no.
same thing with when the war in Ukraine broke out. It was clear that people in the West, the news agencies in the West who were trying to cover the war, don't even know so much about Ukraine. Remember when
No.
there was that gas line, pipe, that
Pipeline exploded right next to
pipeline
Finland,
explosion? Yeah,
right
and
next
they
to
called
us.
it, and they called it, and I've forgotten, the Times called it Ukraine's Chernobyl.
Oh, why would
Not
it?
knowing that, yeah, that's what they called it. Not knowing that Chernobyl happened in Ukraine. Chernobyl is in Ukraine. That's
Well,
the level of ignorance.
Ukraine's Chernobyl is Chernobyl.
It's Chernobyl. That is what it. So they don't
They're-
even know, and
no,
then they're
no.
not humble enough to learn. There's one thing about wokeism, it kind of gives you an authority even when you know absolutely nothing. You feel, because I'm a good person, I'm fighting for a good cause, I'm tolerant, therefore I somehow I have authority to speak about anything, you know and as
Also,
long as
they have this weak makes it right mentality. The more victim you are, the more weak you are. Apparently, the more sense your arguments make. So they also
which
have
is
this kind of a weird.
which is really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. This society, like Finnish society, need to be, guys. You guys need to be aware of what is happening. Like, really be aware of what Islam is about. Be aware of what ISIS is about. I mean, you people fought a war. I believe that Finnish soldiers fought. I don't know the role they play in fighting ISIS. I don't know. I believe it was quite a significant role. And during that period, they didn't even try to learn about the enemy.
No, the Finnish army provided, I think, some training for the northern Iraqi Kurdish forces, but they didn't really even engage so much ISIS. The Syrian Kurds engaged ISIS more. So Finland doesn't really even have very much combat experience. But what we are known from is doing that. Not only we are the number one ISIS country, we are also the only one of the only countries that has never charged a crime with a single returning ISIS terrorist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of
I
the
even
only
saw.
countries.
Yeah, we are Finland is one of those countries that do not try. If somebody is an ISIS member from Syria coming back to Finland, you're not tried. Yeah, you're
No.
welcome back. Yeah,
Welcome. No
like we are saying,
investigation. Nothing.
no
Nothing.
investigation, nothing, nothing.
And
So
when
you can
these
go to Syria, rape people, kill Yazidi women, do all those things, come back to Finland, and you
yeah,
continue from where you stopped.
we even had
Essentially.
a Finnish lady, like a native Finnish lady. You know Sanna
Mm.
Marin, right? This
Yeah.
lady was called Isis Sanna because her name was Sanna too, and and the media was calling her ISIS Sanna. And she was
Mm.
this native Finnish lady who had left to Syria with her man, but her man had died at battle. Then she had been married off to many different jihadis who all died
Mm.
and whatever. And then she married her little kid, like a little girl, to many
Mm.
different jihadi men, 11,
Mm.
12-year-old. And she was telling this when she came back to Finland. She was telling all of this. Oh, I married my girl and everything like that, which is
Mm-hmm.
illegal in Finland. That is
Mm-hmm.
illegal. You can't say
Yes.
you just married off your little girl. That is illegal in Finland. But do you
and
know,
they let her
did
slide.
they let it fly? No investigations. No investigations whatsoever. And not only that, our foreign minister, Pekka Haavisto at that time, who is a openly gay man dating some Latino young man. Like I
Mm,
don't know if they're married or whatever. But but
mm,
but he is responsible for making a secret operation in foreign ministry that nobody knew about at the time they made it, and it was a secret
mm,
operation to save Finnish passport holders from the
mm,
Syrian Al-Hol camp where Kurdish people were guarding ISIS. So
mm-hmm,
Finland made a secret operation
mm-hmm,
with private jets, with private luxury jets against Kurdish forces to free ISIS terrorists,
hmm,
put them in luxury planes, bring
hmm.
them to
And back
Finland,
to Finland.
put them in social welfare, change their names, give free housing, not a single investigation, not a single child welfare system, not a single child is taken in
Oh my
custody.
god. Oh my god. Why? Why we how do they see ISIS in Finland? How do the average Finnish person see ISIS? Like, what do they think about them? What's the mentality? Because there has to be a mentality that will make you feel like, oh, it is okay for me to rescue these people, bring them back to Finland, and
Okay,
just
so
release them to the entire population.
what they think is that ISIS, like the
Mm-hmm.
organization, the image of it, the ideology of it, is not real. It's made up. It's Islamophobia. It's American propaganda. It's Jewish propaganda. It is just like Islam starts saying, "Oh no, no, ISIS doesn't represent Islam. It is made up by Jews. The Jews are
Mm,
trying to make the Islam look bad." And this is basically the same mentality that Finnish people have. When a Finnish person, we had a woman minister from the right wing party, a woman minister that said that burqas look like black sacks. Next week, we had leftists holding signs that said "Jesus burqa."
mm.
That's the mentality. So when a right wing person says, "Oh, I don't like burqas," next day you're gonna have leftists saying that they love burqas. They don't think about it. They don't know anything about it.
Ah, this is bad. So from what you just said, that means there's a right wing party in Finland, and they are they've probably been labeled Islamophobic and stuff like that. I can imagine.
More racist, because in Sweden lately they have started to actually diagnose the problem, which is not immigration, which is not immigrants, which is
Mm.
Islam. The
Mhm.
diagnose of this issue is Islam, not some random Thailander coming in, some Buddhist Thailander coming in country. What the fuck is gonna do? Nothing. He's not gonna cause any issues.
No, he's not.
Like the immigration is not the issue actually. But in Sweden, they have lately diagnosed this. But in Finland, no. Even the right wing party, like the most far right, crazy or scary Nazis, which they are socialists also. Uh, I'm serious. They're more socialist than the left wing party, and people call them far right and whatever. Finnish politics is very blah blah blah. But like even them, they
Mm.
won't say Islam. They will say immigration. They will say
Immigration.
immigrants. They will say foreigners, but they will never name Islam or Muslim. Never.
It's the same thing I see in the UK. It's the same thing I see in the UK. You have grooming gangs, you have all of that, and
Asian
then
men.
yeah, when you see
Yeah.
people talk about it in the even among politicians, they don't say Muslims, they say immigration. We have immigration crisis. We have an immigration crisis. We need to cut down immigration. That is kind of how they couch the whole thing. It's just immigration, and I'm like, nah. Even okay, cut down the immigration. Maybe in the process you cut down Muslims, but even still, that they will not do that. So even that
No,
they will not do. So
I always ask Finnish people that instead of taking all of these Muslims into your country, if you took Chinese people, if you took Buddhists, you took Thai people, you took Ethiopians, you took
you
Israelis,
took
you took
Hindus.
yeah, you took some random Hindus. You think these problems we experience now with Islam and all of this rape and terrorism and street gang, you think this would happen?
Of course, it wouldn't. Those people don't think like that. Those people don't act like that.
Because they're
It should be.
racist. They don't understand. They don't understand. The issue is not our skin color. The issue is not our being immigrants. The issue is
It,
not.
It's an
It's
ideology and
not,
a
man.
culture around
Yeah.
that ideology. It's
Yes,
an
and I
ideology
find
and a
it
culture
highly
around.
racist. I find it so racist for these people to not actually understand it.
Yeah.
It's very racist.
To make it look like, oh, it's just all immigrants, when clearly it is
Yeah.
not all immigrants. It's just a particular immigrant with a particular mindset, particular culture, a particular ideology.
So it's
Migrants who
easier to be racist
migrants
and
who
what
migrants
is
who
it?
themselves have a history. It's just if you just dig a little into their past, you even know that you can tell in the future this person is going to stab somebody. Like it's not even rocket science. You can just tell this guy from Iraq, yeah, that is 34 but says he's 17. Yeah, he's going to stab somebody in the future. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's
He's gonna
it's
rape
not
somebody, he's gonna stab somebody, he's gonna sell some drugs, he's gonna do something. Like it's
it's going
obvious.
to do something in the future, you know. And then instead
But
of diagnosing the actual problem, they say the so-called right-wing party will say is immigration. The left will be like, no, 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 we can save them, we can fix
no,
them.
you're
We just
racist. You're
yeah,
racist.
if we believe that if we give people opportunity, yeah, if we give people the right opportunity. I saw that debate today again about the Palestinians and people talking about giving them opportunity. That if they have the right opportunity, they will not have
Oh,
become radicalized and stuff like that.
what was the last 20 years then? If not an opportunity for them to grow out of that, what was the
These
last
people don't
20
understand.
years?
These people don't understand how people under certain ideologies how they behave. It's not about opportunity. Okay, there are people who are poor, very poor, and they are not doing this. There are people who have been oppressed and killed, and so many things have been done to them, and they're not doing this. Okay, Christians in Lebanon have been victim of oppression, real oppression, not the one the leftists talk about. Right? Coptic Christian in Egypt have been victim of oppression. Yet we've not had an uprising. We've not seen we've not seen an intifada
No.
from the Christian community in the Middle East. We've not these people are really suffering. Really look at
ISIS,
what is happening to,
yeah,
to religious minorities in the Middle East. But we've not
yeah,
had one
no,
intifada from any of those
no.
minorities. No,
ISIS
not even
kidnapped 10,000 Yazidi girls. 10,000 Yazidi girls were kidnapped. Where is the leftists? Where are they?
we had the call for intifada. What about even Hindus in Pakistan who are being who they kidnap their women, they rape them sometimes, stuff like that happen. Have you heard of a Hindi intifada in Pakistan? No. So if you see people behaving like this, where they in response to so-called oppression, they decide to do crazy things like rape women, kill people, burn babies, set babies on fire, and attack communities and do crazy things like that. It is not because of oppression. There is something else. There's something extra to this. You know.
Oppressed people don't do that. Oppressed, like,
I
like,
think this is the problem.
uh,
This is the problem I think with the West. They watch Taken Part 1 and Part 2, and then they see that guy say, "I will find you, I will kill you," and they think that's how everybody acts in the world. Like if you take my daughter, I will find you. Nah, let me be honest with you. When you take somebody's daughter, what they do is they beg you, they plead with you, and if you end up killing their child, they grieve. They hold the animosity, but they will not. For the most part, I'm telling you the truth. For the most part, they will not do anything to you. They will not. Not everybody is Liam Neeson. That's not, that's not how it works. That's not how it
like,
works. Jesus Christ. Is there something you wanted to say? Something you wanted to say?
what do you see is like when are these pro-Palestine things? When are they gonna go away? How long we're gonna see this?
I think as long as the war in Gaza, I think it's going to continue until the war in Gaza is over. And once the war in Gaza is over, everybody's going to go home and move to the
Get
next thing.
tired of it. It's like
Yeah,
BLM.
yes,
It's
yes. I
yeah.
think towards election period, many of this will just die down. And this is one of those riots. Usually it is the left that benefits from riot and protest and stuff like that. But this is one of those riots that I don't see the left benefiting from. I mean, they're already calling Joe Biden genocide Joe, you know. So I don't I don't see the left benefiting from this. I mean,
Uh, uh,
BLM riot was beneficial to the left. Oh, it was so beneficial. It was their opportunity. I just knew based on the sentiment that was flowing around in the country, the racial awakening and all those things that we are going. I just knew that election was going to go, left wing. But this one is, I don't even know how it is swaying, but it is not swaying in the favor of the Democrats in America. So that's how, and I feel America is leading in this protest. I mean, after what happened in Colombia, every university in the West was like, yeah, we need to have our own encampment. We need to, which was the same thing with BLM. Even the UK that didn't have a racist police problem, we are acting like we are acting like police brutality is a thing in the UK. I'm like, is it?
They don't even have guns.
They don't even have, exactly. You have a police that don't even have guns, and all of a sudden it was just anything anything America does, we are going to do it too. Like it's so funny. So
Dude,
I feel
we had like conversation on Finnish television about police brutality and all of that. And Finland,
like, are you trying to feel? Are you trying to belong? Are you trying to ride on the trend? You don't want to be left out. Is it FOMO? Are you having FOMO over police brutality? Jesus Christ!
I think that's it. It's like this bandwagon you want to be part of. You want to be good.
You want to be
do
part of it.
trendy things and stuff like that. And now it's very trendy to do this. But did you see today this Iranian supreme leader? You were talking about the Colombia protest. The Iranian supreme leader Khomeini himself uploaded a propaganda video on X today, which uses these stupid leftist protesters as a part of their regime propaganda. The American youth are on our side. Look at the bad police brutalizing them. The Americans are bad. They're killing their own youth.
And I was like, Colombia, if anybody in Colombia has like, they still
brains,
have not been completely, if their brain has not been completely corrupted by whatever left-wing nonsense or whatever rhetoric now that is trendy, if their brain has not been completely corrupted by that, if they see this should make the average person just say, okay, wait a minute. How come this guy is using what we are doing? He's using what we are doing.
Like you do not realize you're being a part of their.
Yeah, you're becoming a part of them. You are helping them. And here's the funny thing: I even saw online on Twitter, people saying like people should not talk so much about the what the women are going through in Iran, about they call it colonial feminism. I don't know if you've heard of colonial feminism, which is whenever a feminist is talking about what people in the Middle East are doing to women, that is colonial feminism. You shouldn't talk about
it. It's racist to care about Middle Eastern women. If you're European and you care about them, you're racist.
You're racist. It is colonial. These are ridiculous things that we say. I'm like, how do you even come? See, there's something I need to applaud the left for. They come up with terminologies. No, they do. They come up with ridiculous terminologies. Like in 1,000 years, I would not have come up with colonial feminism. But that's what they used to excuse Hamas raping women. And people talking about Finland, it, they're like, no, that.
In Finland, leftists have a word for everybody for anyone who is not white. So they will categorize people based on who is white and based on who is not white. And not whites is everybody else than whites. And they call these not whites racialized people, not racial people. Racialized people, which means that we leftists didn't racialize you. Those racists somewhere there did. So we're gonna call you racialized. What the fuck is that?
And to them, this thing makes sense. So, like, that's the funny part.
Yes, they are very serious with this. Like, they're racializing themselves.
If you talk about the kidnap of, I was saying it like I made a post on Twitter. I was like, if Boko Haram could come up with a way of attacking Israel right now, I'm telling you, freedom fighters, everybody will forget the fact that how many women have they kidnapped? I mean, how many women have Boko Haram kidnapped? All of that will be forgotten. This is the funny thing. All the Muslims that Boko Haram have killed, because number one victim of Boko Haram are Muslims. All of them, even the Muslim community, will forget it. They will forget it. Yep. And in that moment, it will be, come on. This is against Zion. And anybody who says, oh, but let's talk about the women, that's colonial feminism. That right there is colonial feminism. No. You don't say that.
You can support the terrorists, okay? That is freedom. That is freedom and democracy if you support the terrorists. But if you support secular women who want human rights, that is colonialism.
And I don't know how the West went from a society that was pushing for women's rights, trying to give women opportunity, to this. Like, how did it go from that to this? How did it end up from the women's rights is something that when you look in the West is like it's constantly under attack. It's either it is coming under the attack from it's being attacked by Muslims or it's being attacked by trans people. How did this society go from defending women to now making women like not even caring about them anymore? It's
They
mind
kind of
blowing.
removed the special status. So, like, women used to have this like kind of a special privileged defended status, as they should. Like men
Mhm.
should protect women, and they had this, but I think they took it away. They gave it to trans women.
They
So
give it
they
to
gave it
trans
to,
women.
yes, they gave it to men who act like women. So Ricky Gervais has actually a very good stand-up about this. He's talking about the modern woman, which have cocks, and the old school women who don't have cocks. So they're lame. The old school women are lame. The modern women are the trendy ones. They represent on the sports. They are the talking mouthpieces. They are the women's rights
They're the ones
activists. And
making feminism great again. They are the
yes,
real
they are
women. They're
making
the ones
the
who they're the,
but
they're the ones who
yeah, tell me.
sorry, finish. Let me I'm interrupting you too
But like
much.
like 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 this is exactly the same, like leftists saying they're against Nazis, but then they yell "River to the Sea" with Hamas, and this is exactly the same. They are like, oh, we are we're rights, and this is women rights. We are women too. But all they do, all day, every day, all they do is fight feminists, fight females.
Mm.
They go on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, they go on X, and they fight females. That's what they do. They
And
are
they,
dudes
yeah.
who hate women.
Oh, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting. We stayed 2 hours
2 hours. That's good.
talking about
That's
this, and I hope we've been able to cover everything. But although there's some stuff about this Vice article that I would have loved for us to get into, but we didn't get the opportunity. I'm going to leave the link to all like most
everybody
of the
can
work
read
that
it.
you've.
I think we got the most of it. We got the gist of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we
Like
got the
like
most
we
of
don't
it.
need all of the details. Everybody can go read it. You can link it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So I'm
like
going
the
to.
gist of it.
Yeah, the gist of it, we talked about it. And even in our conversation, I think we even touched on so many details, even though we didn't read them out, right? So that's the state of things in Finland, guys. And I've had like a couple of super chats that I have not looked at because they told me in the comment section that I should not be distracted by super chats. So you guys, this is from popular demand, so it's not my fault. So this is an earlier comment. We've looked at this. And this is from Jazz. She said, never be weak around Islam. They see it as a signal to conquer, it seems. Be hard target, as David Wood said, never back down. That's true. That's true. When it comes to Islam, mentally, essentially, mentally, if you're somebody who can be easily manipulated, you are a soft target for them. They will
You're gonna
manipulate
get
you.
used. Look at the
Yes.
Sneeko. Look at
Yes.
Sneeko.
Yeah, that
Like
guy, that guy, I look at somebody who is popular and who is stupid, and that's just, that's just like
prime
there's no
meat.
better way. There's no better way to describe Sneeko than somebody who is just stupid. How people take
He
him
used to be
seriously
smart. He
beyond
he,
me.
he had very
Yeah, he
smart,
used
like
to. He used to. If you
he
listen
used
to
to. I
his
don't know what the
early,
fuck happened to it.
I don't know. I just don't know. That's why sometimes people feel like his stupidity is like an act. Is like a performance, like it's a grift. Even though I don't know if that is the case, but I mean, if you listen to his early content on his channel, the guy was smart. He was saying things. He was very introspective, very self-reflective, and stuff like that.
He
This is
had
somebody
long
who,
form interviews and all of
if he
that.
had continued on that trajectory, he would have really been a very good, you know, person on the YouTube space that people. And he's the way he edited his videos were, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the way he edited his early videos inspired even me. Inspired even me. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this person knows how to make videos.
Yeah.
And then look at him now. I don't think he has ever edited any video in like how many years now. All he does is just live streams where he just yell at the camera and say stupid stuff. I don't know.
And be very
That's Islam
gay.
for that's what Islam.
Act like not gay. They're incredibly gay, dude.
And his
Have
his
you
his
seen what?
his, uh, his friend. His friend
What?
Andrew Tate, who's like
Yeah.
Andrew
Like
Tate said,
kissing
Andrew Tate
woman is
said,
gay. Kissing woman is
yeah,
gay.
like if you have sex with women because you enjoy it, that's gay. Sex is supposed to be about having children, and if it's not
Dude,
about
I'm
having
super
children,
gay.
then
I'm super gay. According to Andrew Tate, I'm like the gayest person ever. What's
like
that?
by Andrew Tate's definition, 90% of men are gay. And I'm like, dude, maybe the gay person here is you. Is
Yeah,
you. Okay, it's
maybe,
you. And
perhaps.
it's not too late to come out of the closet. Like you can accept it now. This is
Like
2024. Jesus
so, basically,
Christ.
what they're saying is, woman is for reproduction and men are for pleasure.
Yeah,
That's what they're
they're just
saying.
what essentially they're trying to do beyond the whole gay stuff is just to reduce women, just reduce women to just baby factories, see women as, oh, that's all a woman is good for, and saying that because this is Andrew Tate's argument essentially. Look at the Middle East, they are reproducing. Look at Africa, they are reproducing. And look at you in the West, you're not reproducing. And the reason why you're not reproducing is because you value women. If you treat women like trash that they are, according to him, that's not me. I'm quoting somebody right now.
Don't worry, Frank.
if you
You're not
if
gonna
you
get
treat
canceled.
no, so before somebody will take my statement out of context and say, see, he said women are trash. Can you imagine this Nigerian? What he say? If you treat women as trash, maybe you have more children. Remember back in the day when you were treating them like that, you had more children. But now, not realizing that at the end of the day, what is leading to the reduction in birth rate, in my opinion, is a trend in every modern society. Even the most conservative of modern society that you call, let's say Russia, for example, they still have a declining birth rate, still have an increase in divorces, right? Even people on the right see Russia as conservative, right? Even in Russia, you still have a decline in birth rate. Even Japan, name any
I show
modern
you too.
liberal society, that is kind of like the problem they are dealing with. And I see it as a new dynamic that every liberal society need to learn how to handle. The solution is not get rid of a liberal society and bring in a society where women will be subjugated and will be just, how do we handle this recent development? Every development is going to come with a challenge. Take this as the challenge of your era and find how you can fix it, instead of fiending for the good old days, which you never even experienced. Why not think of how to move forward with this new problem that is in front of you? For me, that's how I see it as. But for Andrew Tate, is let us import barbaric measures so that women can become baby factories.
Have you seen the picture where he sits in a sauna? Andrew Tate.
I've not seen that one, but I know there are plenty pictures of him just half naked, essentially.
Basically, this was a big thing in Finland because like saunas are a big thing for us, like part of our culture, and he put a picture in X, like him posing without shirt in the sauna, like being very like big macho man, and somebody notices that dude, your sauna is cold. It's not even 60 degrees, and you are sitting on the children's bench. According to Finnish culture, children sit on the lower bench, and and you need to have at least like 80 to 90 degrees. That sauna is not gonna work at 60
that
degrees.
is that is macho photo up gone wrong.
It's just a photo op. So basically, it's just dripping water on himself, sitting on the
it's just like
children's seat.
it's just like that Donald Trump photo up. I don't know if you remember after the BLM riot where a church was set on fire, and the Donald
Yeah.
Trump did this photo op where he went and he posed with the Bible, and then the Bible was actually upside down. This is like that. It's the same thing. I don't know if you're aware of this Andrew Tate picture where he had the Quran on his lap and he was wearing only boxers, and he had that on his lap and he was trying to show that he was reading the Quran. And people were pointing out that no, you don't put the Quran on your private part.
Yeah, no. Think
You are
about if a woman did that woman would be lynched to death.
But he's a popular figure for men, and he's the guy. And people were pointing that out, and his brother was like, "Why are you guys criticizing him? This is somebody who has been serious about his blah 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 blah." And people were like, "No, as a Muslim, you don't do that. You don't desecrate the Quran like that." It's another photo op gone wrong, and that just shows you that these people are just trying to. I think when it comes to Sneeko, I don't want to see him as a grifter. But Andrew Tate is a grifter. The end. Like there's nothing you will tell me. Everything about his social media presence is an act. It's not real. The Andrew Tate you see, the Andrew Tate you are seeing is not real. Like it is so not real. I'm very sure this guy privately is not how he what you see privately is not what you see on camera. He's putting up an act. Every picture, every pose, you can see that this is not how he has this image that he has built and he's struggling to maintain. You can see him put effort in maintaining it. You can see that he's not natural. People always say, oh, he's relatable. I'm like, no, maybe he's what how dumb do you have to be sold by Andrew Tate? Really?
Well,
How
I
dumb?
think like his conversion to Islam was a grift. It's like if you've seen his old videos, he's actually very right wing. He's like against all this Islamic immigration.
Yeah,
and
I saw one of his videos where he was criticizing Islam
and
saying,
ISIS.
"Oh,
He was like ISIS
I'm
are
ISIS."
Islam and stuff like that. And he
Yeah.
actually has like this. He knows what's going on. He knows that if he converts to Islam, nobody's gonna say shit about his misogyny, his all of this bullshit. He was getting slack before. Now suddenly leftists don't even talk about him anymore. Nobody criticizes him anymore.
As a Muslim, you get a pass. You get a
Yeah,
pass. Okay.
you get a pass.
So if you have a problem, maybe you are running from the law. Maybe you've done human trafficking or you've done sex trafficking or whatever it is you've done in the past. Become a Muslim today and support Hamas.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
you'll
your
be
sins
fine.
will be forgiven.
Yes, and you'll actually get money prizes and.
I'm telling you, become VIP. This is from Ray Jakes. He said, finally found a life. Your bravery and ability to stand on the truth is admirable. We pray for your strength and protection. Thank you and amen. Amen. And this is from Happy Mac, 499 super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And this is from Abraham. He said, if Islam was the only religion and Muhammad in paradise, I would
I read that.
I don't know if you see. I don't know if you saw my. I don't know if you saw my tweet today where I was responding to somebody who said Christians are scared to read the Quran. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
tweet.
I saw that.
And I was like, yeah, we are really afraid to read Surah 33.
Exact same reason why we don't want to read the sentence.
I really want Muslims like who read Surah 33 to tell me how after reading Surah 33 they still believe that this religion is true. Like if there's any argument for how false and made up the Quran is, Surah 33 is a good example. I mean, come on. Come on.
They will make excuses for it. They make excuses for it. They're like, oh, we're only beating with a stick this thick and we're not leaving marks and
like that's Surah 33, for example. At the beginning, Muhammad, okay, not Muhammad, it's Allah who is speaking through the angel Gabriel, got rid of adoption, right? Then much later, he's like, Muhammad can go ahead and marry his adopted son's wife. And the reason why he's marrying his adopted son's wife is to show to the Muslim that it is okay for them to marry their adopted son's wife after a divorce. I'm like, okay, you're trying to show that
common
it is okay.
Is that?
No, there's no more adoption in Islam. Adoption is
yeah.
So that's kind of like the issue. At the beginning of the chapter, you abolished adoption. This is Allah now. This is the logic of Allah. At the beginning of the chapter, you abolished adoption. Then much later, you allow Muhammad to marry his adopted son's wife to show to the Muslims that it is okay for them to marry their adopted son's wife, even though at the beginning you've already gotten rid of adoption. I don't know if you understand. Okay, let me explain it like this.
I understand. How can there be something?
Yeah, why should Muhammad marry his adopted son's wife as a way of showing that it is okay to marry your adopted son's wife when moving forward you will not have adopted sons? And Allah is like, yeah, we made you do this so that you can show to the Muslims as an example. It is also in that same chapter that you have Muhammad is a perfect example for all Muslims. It's also in that same chapter. That's
we have seen what that example is.
It is also in that same chapter. It's also in that same chapter that it is okay to marry your cousins. Also in that same chapter. And that is the chapter that is the Quran that we are afraid of, right?
Oh, I'm so afraid, dude.
That that chapter is also in that same chapter that Allah tells the Muslims that they should not disturb Muhammad, that when they come to eat in his house, they should not come early, they should come at the time when the food will be served. And once they are done eating, they should leave, they should not bother the prophet. That the prophet wants to say this, but he's shy. But Allah is not shy on his behalf. This is I'm telling you, this is not, I'm not making this up. This is the Quran, guys. I can bring the verse up for you. I'm like, how will anybody read Surah 33 and not just laugh? And I'm like, this has
It's
to
a
be a
joke.
joke.
The whole religion is just a joke. If you know anything about it, you're like, how can this be even real? Like
How
this
can
is a
people take this
parody.
serious?
No, this is a
Even
parody.
Aisha, who is like it.
A little girl. Come on, Frank. We were getting to the juicy parts of Muhammad marrying little girls. God damn it, Frank. You left me here alone. Okay, I'll look at some comments then. Gotta do another. Allah knows breast. I see. Muhammad was born 3 years after his father's death. What? Yeah. Awesome stream, guys. Gotta do another. We actually did. It's not published yet. It's me, Frank, and Momos. I think the Momos Najmi. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a Pakistani ex-Muslim. We have an episode of us three talking. I don't know when that is coming out. That is not live. That is just like a recorded thing. Ask Momos about that. But yeah, there's more of our conversations over there. But this is my show again. There will be virgins for you in paradise. Thank you very much. This has been fantastic. Thank you. Do you watch Nabi Asli? No, I don't. Oh no, that happened. I like your guest beard based on Muslims' mindset. He is Muslim since has a beard. Just submitting your will to Allah makes you an Abdul. Dude, I have a natural beard. I can't, like, if I cut this, it'll be just back in a couple of weeks. I'm really don't really want to like shave out every day. You two should do more streams together. Good collab. Thank you very much. Europe diaspora with a lot of relatives at home, hoping to get back. Is Frank out of connection again? Yes, Frank is out of connection again. I think he's gonna come back. We're gonna wrap this up. This has been going on for 2.5 hours. We really don't have anything to talk anymore. So I'll just answer some questions until Frank comes back and wraps this up, and we'll end it up. There's nothing wrong except that every Muslim friend I have, they have accepted. Accepted what? Internet sped by sword will end by internet.
Yeah.
You're back. You're back. I just said like we read some comments and I said Frank will probably come back and read the rest of the super chats and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah. We're almost done. We're almost done, guys. Sorry, we're almost done. Sorry. Jesus Christ. I hope this does not happen in the next live stream I'm having. I really hope it does not happen. But anyway, what was I saying before? Before my service provider was like, stop talking.
You were reading the super chats. So.
Okay. I was reading. Okay, we've read this one, right? And this is the last one. I like you guys. I like your guest beard. They like your beard. Based on Muslim mindset, he is Muslim since he has a beard. Just submit your will to Allah. Make you an ab.
Do you know why I have a beard? Because
Why?
according to a Turkish imam, if I don't have a beard, Muslim men can find me sexy. So I really don't want that sexual attention.
This is true. This
I
is
really
so
don't want that
true. This is
sexual
so true.
attention, so I'm keeping this.
So yeah, you have to keep. I shaved mine. Mine was kind of gray. I was like, nah, I don't like how this is looking on my face, and I shaved
Now
it.
you look like now, according to them, you
Yeah,
look
I'm tempting
sexy.
so many. I'm tempting so
Yeah,
many
they're
men who are
tempting
yet to
men.
come out of the closet.
They're so gay they don't even realize it.
Hey, anyway, this is from Victor. He said Muslims pretend they respect women, but when they make videos about their four wives dream team, where one wife is just to satisfy the man in bed. Have you seen this Alidawa video where he had his wife covered?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. The woman was
That
riding
was
on a board,
He was
handing
writing
it
on the
to
board.
Ali.
She could not even
Not even
speak.
speak. Yeah, she
Yeah, that's
literally doesn't have a voice. Literally doesn't have a voice.
I remember I was talking about Surah 33. In that same Surah 33 is where women are to cover their face. So we Surah 33 is a fantastic surah. So that's where the chapter that has to do with women covering their covering themselves, wearing a veil over themselves. That is the chapter where it is mentioned. You guys should read Surah 33. It's very wonderful. If you read it, you are going to convert to Islam. I promise you. You're just going to convert.
No, it's called revert, Frank. It's called
Sorry,
revert.
you're going to revert because
Everybody is born Muslim,
everybody's a
okay?
Muslim. You're born.
But you get corrupted by the dunya. They're like Mormons. You know, Mormons go around digging up dead people and like baptizing them into Mormonism.
I didn't even know that. They do
that. They go to like
I've not
like
paid too much attention to Mormonism. I just feel, there's the Joseph Smith, there's the marrying of more than one wife. I know they have it there. That's all I know about the religion.
Yeah, but they basically do the same. Like Islam is like, Moses was Muslim, Jesus was Muslim, everybody is Muslim when they get born. And that is basically what Mormons do. They dig up dead bodies and baptize them, and then write the history books that the dude was a Mormon.
Yeah, if only they could find the body of Jesus. Jesus will also be a
Yeah, they will baptize it as a Mormon.
As a Mormon. That's really interesting. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being with us. It has really been interesting. Thank you guys, the ones who gave us the super chats. And from this
Follow
end,
us.
it is.
Hey, you guys have to go follow
Please.
Frank. Follow him on Twitter. Go follow him on Twitter. Please.
Let me promote it. Let me promote it to 160 of you that is here. Please go on Twitter. I don't know how to promote stuff. I'm very terrible at promoting.
He has 40,000 times more subs on YouTube than Twitter. 40,000 times.
My subscribers on YouTube are so much more than what I have on Twitter. So please follow me. Is in the description of the video. You'll see my socials. You can follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Also, I said in the last live stream that if you guys join my membership, and you get it to 100 on YouTube, 100 members on my YouTube membership, that I'm going to read 10 Quran chapters and I'm going to make videos for each of those 10 chapters.
Do it.
Go if you want to do that, if you want to see me do that, join the membership and also subscribe to the channel, like this video so that the algorithm will push it to others. And also, please, his socials are also in the description, and I also put it in the pinned comment, as well as the articles that we are talking about. And please, I want you to subscribe to his Substack. Follow him on social media. He lost his account and he's trying to get it back again after the whole defamation lawsuit. So please, please, please follow him. Follow Anta. You get to know a lot about ISIS if you follow him. And with that being said, have a very wonderful day. Take care and God bless.
Thank you, everybody.